This is a higgity feast. There's plenty of this, and these as well. We top it like this, and bake it like that. Higgity. Baked generously. This is a higgity feast. There's plenty of this, and these as well. We top it like this, and bake it like that. Higgity. Baked generously. This is a higgity feast. There's plenty of this, and this, and these as well. We top it like this, and bake it like that. Higgity. Baked generously. This is a higgity feast. There's plenty of this, and this, and these as well. We top it like this, and bake it like that. Higgity. Baked generously.
the county ground in Hove in West Sussex, where it is glorious blue skies overhead. The floodlights have just been turned on and we are waiting for the players to make their way out onto the pitch. The Southern Vipers against the Sunrisers, their final group league game, whatever you want to call it, before finals day at Worcester on Saturday. And the Vipers still yet to officially mathematically secure their place, but they sit third in the table. It is, of course, the top three that qualify for the finals day on Saturday. The Blaze are already into the final, having cruised the league with 7 wins from 7. The Thunder have beaten the Northern Diamonds earlier on today to move on to 18 points into second above the Southern Vipers. So they are guaranteed a spot in the eliminator, the playoff, the semi-final, whatever you want to call it. And the Southern Vipers on 17 points in third will book their spot in that eliminator against the Thunder should they win tonight against the Sunrisers. If they were to be beaten and beaten heavily, then there is a chance, a very small chance, that they could miss out on a spot in finals day. But they are playing the Sunrisers, who have lost 6 from 6 in the Charlotte Edwards Cup so far this season. So everything going, you would think, in the Vipers' favour ahead of the game, and they've continued that as well by winning the toss. Captain Georgia Adams calling right and deciding to have a bowl first here at the county ground. The team news, well, the Vipers missing all of their England players: Maya Boucher, Charlie Dean, Danny Wyatt, Lauren Bell, not present here in Hove this evening. Charlotte Taylor added to the squad for tonight's game, but not included in the 11 due to a hamstring injury. So the Vipers team for you in full: Ella McCacken, Nicole Fulton, the wicketkeeper, Georgia Elwis, Georgia Adams, the captain, Freya Kemp, Emily Windsor, Nancy Harmon, Lindsay Smith, Alice Monaghan, Mary Taylor and Anya Shrubsole, of course, put on that brilliant bowling performance in their last game. The Sunrisers, well, they have made the headlines ahead of the game in terms of deciding to change their captain. They have handed the reins to the former South Africa captain, very experienced player, Dane van Niekerk, taking over from Kelly Castle, who was announced earlier on, steps down from the role, largely due to the fact that they just want someone more experienced in charge of the team out there in the middle. And they have got a player of that kind in Dane van Niekerk, that's for sure. So we'll wait and see if that makes an impact out on the pitch this evening. The Sunrisers also handing a debut to academy bowler Esme McGregor as well, who's called up to the squad for the first time this season and gets a spot in their starting 11. So the Sunrisers for you: Dane van Niekerk, Lissy McLeod, Cordelia Griffith, Maddie Villiers, Amara Carr, Florence Miller, Ava Gray, Kelly Castle, Kate Kopak, Esme McGregor and Abata Maskood. Very pleased to say, alongside me for commentary this evening is a familiar face on our Vipers games and voice, of course, Phil Green. Phil, very good evening to you. Come on and tee this one up for me. Get everyone excited for what could be maybe a close and nervy game for the Vipers.
Well, it could be. I mean, if it's an exciting finish you want, then you probably would want the Vipers to struggle and concede quite a lot of runs early on. But I'm sure as Vipers fans, as most of you listening probably are, then we won't be hoping for that scenario. We're also hoping that our equipment carries on for the rest of the evening. We'd have to revert to the phone, as Kevin did last night. Yeah, I have got my charger in case that eventuality happens. But yeah, the game tonight, I think probably realistically more than anything, it's about getting in shape for the game on Saturday, or for possible games on Saturday, and they'll be looking to get everyone into prime form for that. I think would be the main Vipers aim.
And we say the Vipers would need to lose heavily, but also it's the South East Stars in 5th that could still get to 17 points level with the Vipers, so they would need a win and a bonus point. Well, no, they've already finished, haven't they? Of course, yeah. So, yeah, sorry, no, it's the Northern Diamonds, isn't it, on 17 points? I'm going crazy because that game's already finished, of course.
Yeah, this is the only game left now, so I think it's just a case of staying above well, obviously, if Vipers win the game, then they're second anyway. As you mentioned earlier, Jordan, finishing second or third makes no difference. Actually, those two teams, it might make a difference on who gets a certain dressing room or something like that at Worcester, but it won't make any difference to who plays. So, second or third doesn't matter. The first team, the Blaze, who finish top, automatically in the final. And effectively, the semi-final will be between, hopefully, Vipers and Thunder.
Yeah, so earlier on today, those results, as I get my brain back into gear, the Thunder and the Northern Diamonds, which was ultimately the big significant one. The Thunder winning that by 7 wickets. The Northern Diamonds bowled out for 96. The Thunder... so booking their place in the finals day. The Southeast Stars beat the Central Sparks by 6 runs, and the Blaze continued their dominance, going with a 100% record into the finals day with a 7-wicket victory away at the Western Storm. BBC Radio Solent Sport live from the county ground in Hove this evening, ahead of the Southern Vipers against the Sunrisers in the Charlotte Edwards Cup, the T20 format for the Vipers this evening, before they eventually next week turn their attentions back to the Rachel Hay-Ho Flint Trophy once they hopefully got finals day out the way as well, maybe even defended their trophy. Of course, they are the defending champions. We're just waiting for the players to come out for the start of the game. They've been out going through their warm-ups. The Sunrisers opted for a bit of touch rugby. The Vipers over on the far side, from where we're commentating, went for a bit of football instead. In terms of the two squads, Phil, in what's on offer, we mentioned the Vipers obviously missing all of their England players, but still a very strong side out there for them this evening.
They are. It's an experienced squad as well. There's a couple of new players this year that have broken through from the academy, and Mary Taylor's played quite a few games this year, and is playing again tonight. She's come through the academy from the Sussex girl from the last couple of years. And we've also got Nicola Fulton keeping wicket, who's a new player this year, new addition, Australian, who's got a lot of women's Big Bash experience. So generally speaking, a very experienced side. A lot of this team have been together for a few years now. And yeah, you'd have to fancy them here for a variety of reasons, really. Interesting, there's not too many in the crowd. Hopefully it'll fill up a little bit. There's a few in the temporary stands that have been put up for the Blast games. They were being constructed the last time we were here, and there's a few that have gone right to the top of that. Obviously want a bit of an aerial view, but not too many in the crowd. But there's plenty of time for people to come in, maybe down at the beach at the moment, and kind of venture up here soon. It's not very far away, the beach behind where we're sitting at the moment.
Of course, we've got a double header this evening, so we've got Hampshire in action as well against Somerset at the Aegeus Bowl. If you've tuned in looking for that commentary available on our FM frequencies, 96.1 FM, 103.8 FM on digital radio across Hampshire and the Isle of Wight, and Freeview Television channel 722, as well as online via BBC Sounds as well. And if you ask your smart speaker to play BBC Radio Solent, you get the Hampshire game. If you're currently listening to us on digital radio in Dorset or in Freeview and you'd rather listen on your smart speaker, if you ask it to play BBC Radio Solent Dorset, then you get the Southern Vipers game against the Sunrisers. The bell's gone. The umpires have made their way out onto the pitch in the middle for this evening's game, and we're just joined by the players as well. So the Southern Vipers winning the toss, deciding to bowl first against the Sunrisers. What do you make of that decision, Phil?
It tends to be what they like to do. They like to chase. That is the chosen route for Georgia Adams, so no surprise there. It's also no surprise they're going to open up with Lindsay Smith, as they normally do. The umpires for tonight's game, I'll take the pressure off you by trying to say it myself, Jordan, but at this end we've got Surendi Ranshanmunugam, as you're well aware, I'm sure, and at the far end is Rose Dovey, who's actually officiated in quite a few of the Vipers games this year. So that's our two officials for tonight.
Well done, very impressed. Great knowledge, Phil, and thank you for taking that one for the team. Appreciate that, and we're just about ready to get underway. First over will come from the C end, which is where we are commentating from, and it will be Lindsay Smith, left arm round the wicket, darts one in, And it's defended, pushed forward and away by Lizzie McLeod, opening up at number 1 for the Sunrisers this evening. Dot ball, no run. The second ball of the over from Smith. Again, left arm round the wicket from the spinner. Full. Forward, good line, defensive shot. And again, dot ball, no run.
Quite a slow delivery, that one. She didn't fire it in. It was thrown right up there.
Smith again. That one outside the off stump, and the wicketkeeper takes the bells off, does Nicole Fulton, and Sunrisers' first wicket falls. Lizzie McLeod gone for a duck. Third ball of the game. Brilliant bowling there from Lindsay Smith.
Yeah, it's like I said, the ball before was thrown up quite slowly, and that one was as well. Obviously turned a little bit, and it was a pretty tame dismissal, really, because Lizzie McLeod didn't come far down the wicket. She just sort of walked past it, really. Fairly comfortable stumping, but certainly not an ideal start for the Sunrisers. Lizzie McLeod's been in reasonable nick in this series as well.
Sunrisers lose their first wicket without troubling the scoreboard. A brilliant start for the Vipers as they look to book themselves a place in finals day in the Charlotte Edwards T20 Cup on Saturday.
Delia Griffith coming in now.
Delia Griffith batting at number 3 will come in, gets a quick chat from her new captain Dane van Niekerk, who stood at the other end just watching on. Nothing she can do at the moment.
Cordelia Griffith's the leading run scorer for the Sunrisers in this competition this season with 140 runs.
So it will be Lindsay Smith to continue then from this sea end, having just taken the opening wicket of the game. Sunrisers still yet to get off the mark. Left arm round the wicket, rattles the pads of Griffith.
That one was fired in a lot quicker.
2 balls to come again to the crease. Good flight again, this one just in at the toes, inside edge, off the pads, dot ball, no run. This is a great start from Lindsay Smith and the Vipers. Cordelia Griffith just moves away from the crease, adjusts her glove, and we're ready to go again. Smith, left arm round the wicket, forward, defensive shot from Griffith, dot ball, no run. Wicket maiden to start for Lindsay Smith in the Southern Vipers. The Sunrisers 0 for 1.
Yeah, that's a terrific start. Just what the Vipers would have asked for. Early breakthrough. They've used this tactic of Lindsay Smith opening the bowling quite often in this tournament, and it's worked very well again. We've got Anya Shrubsole from the Cromwell Road end, who, on the back of a really top performance in the last game when she took 4 wickets, getting right back into form. She's played more often in the last couple of weeks, and she's going to bowl in towards us. We've got wicketkeeper Fordham stood up to the stumps, as she usually does for Shrubsole, and Danny Van Niekerk on strike, so these two would have been in competition a lot. I'm sure Shrubsole's bowled to her a lot over the years. In she comes, and that's outside the off stump, and she sort of waves a bat at that, I think, but no contact and through to the keeper. Yeah, they would have played against each other a lot over international cricket over the years, so probably know each other's game inside out. But it's pretty well known, I think, with Anya, that it'll largely be shaping in towards the bat. She comes in again now for a comfortable run up, and that is just drifting into the leg stump. The first run of the innings for the Sunrisers as Van Niekerk just turns it away to square leg, where it's fielded by Freya Kemp coming in off the boundary. So the field we've got for Shrubsole, we've got 5 in a ring on the offside, backward or short third man, backward point, cover, extra cover, mid off. On the leg side we have a mid on, we have a short fine leg, and then 2 out on the boundary at deep square and deep mid. In now to Griffith, and she's cut at that, and again it's through to the keeper. Griffith's stepping away there and trying to cut that through the offside where there is, say, no boundary sweeper, so I guess that's what they're looking to do, but that's against the natural shape of Shrubsole. He sort of invites you to hit it on the leg side, really.
Great gloves in there again from Nicole Fulton.
Yeah, she's kept very well in this tournament. Shrub sole in again. And that's on the stumps, and Griffith just turns it on the leg side. Big gap on the leg side, and she'll get off the mark. Fulton chases it for about 25 yards to stop them getting 2, which they were thinking of at first because there's nobody out there saving in the ring on the leg side, but it's just the 1. So the score goes up to 2, both batters on 1. And Nearkirk back on strike. Shrubsole in again, past the umpire. Oh, and that's found the outside edge. So Nearkirk was looking to play that sort of through the mid-on area, but it's gone out to the backward point for no run. So a great start here from the Vipers. Ready, putting the pressure on the Sunrisers batters. Nearkirk hasn't really got many runs in this competition. They're probably hoping for a little bit more from her. This time she turns on the leg side into that gap, fielded by the square leg umpire, and that'll be a single. So 3 off the over. A good start for Anya Shrubsole, and Sunrisers move up to 3. I'm not sure, Jordan, if my understanding with Danny van Neerkerk is that she only had a contract for this competition. But I'm guessing that she's staying for the Rachel Hayo, because I don't think they'd have made her captain just for this game.
Be a strange decision if not, wouldn't it?
Yeah. But she didn't play in the Rachel Hayo matches the first part of the season. But I'm guessing she will from now on.
She is the new captain. She just marks a guard. And will face Lindsay Smith for the first time this evening. Got us up and running with a wicket maiden. Alice McLeod stumped on the 3rd ball. There's a big appeal and the finger goes up, and Van Neerkerk has the bat under the arm and is making her way back to the dressing room. Lindsay Smith strikes again for the Vipers. 2 wickets in her first 2 overs, and the Sunrisers are 3 for 2. What a brilliant start from the Vipers and Lindsay Smith.
Fantastic start, and it was one of those LBWs where the batter actually almost walked. She realised, I think, straight away it's the sort of modern day, if I can use that expression, LBW that left arm spinners get since the DRS came in. There was a time when if you got on the front foot to a left arm spinner, you normally got away with it. But now they just have to straighten it a little bit, and you see a lot of those decisions given. And as I say, Denny van Neerkerk was walking almost straight away there. She was sort of half forward and didn't really get a stride in. And great start for Lindsay Smith. 2 wickets for no runs.
Straight into the groove. I saw her having a long chat with Charlotte Edwards actually ahead of the game today as well, out doing a little bit of individual warm-up ahead of the match, and it clearly has paid off and worked. Brilliant start from her in her first 2 overs.
Indeed.
So McLeod for a duck in the first with a 3rd ball, and then strikes with the first ball of her 2nd over. The Sunrisers captain Van Neerkerk dismissed for 2. Here's Smith again, left arm round the wicket. Forward defensive by the new bat, Maddie Villiers, England international, of course, making her way out to the crease just to try and maybe build a partnership with Griffith and settle things down from the Sunrisers after a wobbly start. Smith desperate to get going straight away and deliver her next ball, just stopped by the umpire. And that one is a little loose outside the offside, and it's pushed up to extra cover, and Villiers will get off the mark with a single. Moves the Sunrisers on to 4 for 2.
Nearly got it through that offside ring there, but well stopped by Elvis.
So Smith again from the C end. We've got Long back on the boundary down in front of us, and a deep square leg as well. And again Smith sends one in towards the pads. I think there was a bit of an inside edge on that. It was just jammed out of the way by Cordelia Griffith. Everyone else up inside the ring. On the offside, Smith again, left arm round the wicket. That one is cut away towards cover. Emily Windsor does the fielding. Griffith will take the single. That brings Villiers back onto strike, and the Sunrisers are 5 for the loss of 2 wickets. BBC Radio Solent, live from the county ground in Hove. From the sea end, Lindsay Smith. That one's lobbed up in the air, straight to extra cover, and there's a 3rd wicket for Lindsay Smith. And the Sunrisers are collapsing in front of our eyes. 3 down now. Only 5 runs on the board. The Southern Vipers in cruise control early on in this game.
That's an amazing start, really, and that's, again, a very tame dismissal, you'd have to say. Villiers seemed to sort of want to go down the wicket, then changed her mind, and in the end just, I can't even describe the shot, really, just chipped it to extra cover. Very comfortable catch for Georgia Elwes, and in all kinds of trouble here now, obviously.
Blink and you'll miss it. I keep looking down at me notes, and by the time I've looked up again, another wicket's gone.
You try and talk about the new batter, and then you've got to talk about another one almost straight away. I was just going to say that Maddie Villiers is someone who has been in the England side and obviously looking to get back in and has had a reasonable season, but I didn't say it, so I can't say I put the commentator's curse on her, but I did in my mind.
Close enough.
Yeah. So, yeah, 3 overs gone, and we're at the unbelievable score of 5 for 3. And the new batter is
Amara Carr,
the wicketkeeper for Sunrisers. She's been batting higher up in this competition than she does in the 50 over game, and it's Shrubsole again from the Cromwell Road end. Cordelia Griffith on strike. Shrubsole in, and that's cut away by Griffith. That's a good shot. It's going to be the first boundary of the innings. She's got that through the gap on the offside, just backward a square. Good back foot shot, and Sunrisers will be very pleased with getting that on the board. Their first boundary and their first real shot in anger, you'd have to say. So it takes the score up to 9. I say Cordelia Griffith is the leading run scorer for Sunrisers in this competition.
Yeah, you feel as long as she's there, there's a total to be built from the Sunrisers, but she's going to need some help at some point.
She is. She's going to need a lot of help. But you only need one big innings in a T20 game, one player to really come off, and it can make a difference. Shrubsole in again. And it's the same sort of shot again, and it's going to get the same result, I think, unless it can be pulled in. Not quite. Good chase by Alice Monaghan, but she was never quite going to get there. There was a bit of pace taken off it at backward point, but not enough. So the same sort of delivery, same sort of shot, same result. Another 4 for Griffith. She goes up to 10, and the score moves up to 13. Shrubsole probably needs to adjust the line a little bit get a little bit straighter. Both of those balls outside off. In she comes again. That is straighter, and Griffith forces it up to mid-off and takes on the single. And there's a direct hit at the bowler's end, but she was home. I think
that looked close.
It did look close. I think the hesitation was from Carr, who's coming towards us. I think the throw this end might have been an interesting option, but Georgia Adams went for the throw at the bowler's end and did hit the stumps, but Griffith had made her ground. So it's another run, 14 for 3. It looked quite a risky single, I have to say. So Mara Carr now taking guard. Devon-born wicket-keeper.
Just pushing fine leg back.
Yeah, they bringing fine leg back and
mid-wicket in.
Did mid-wicket in. So they obviously done a little bit of homework on her. Don't think Amara's going to hit it over mid-wicket area. Clearly. Shrubsole in again. And that's just defended with a straight bat by Carr into the offside. No run. So yes, in a T20 game, when you're batting first and lose 3 wickets at the start, it's a really difficult situation, obviously, for the batters, but you don't really know whether to stick or twist as a batter, because you've got to consolidate, but also you've got to take advantage of the power play the first 6 overs, really. So Shrubsole in again. And that's turned away by Carr. Might have been a bit of bat in that, I'm not sure, but possibly a leg bye. It's going to go down to fine leg, and the umpire is signalling a leg bye. So not off the mark yet, but 1 to the total.
I guess those first few overs have kind of summed up their season, really, for the Sunrisers, without the win so far in the competition.
And you have to say, I mean, more credit to the bowlers, but they've been pretty tame dismissals, really. Shrubsole in again. That's on the leg side, and Griffiths turned that away. just wide enough of the fine leg to be able to pick up a single. So that's another run. That was Harmon, I think, fielding that. And at the end of the fourth over, Sunrisers have moved on to 16 for 3 with Griffith on 12 and Amara Carr yet to get off the mark.
And it will be Lindsay Smith to continue from the
And why not?
C end,
Yeah.
as you'd expect. Into her third over, 3 wickets already. Alice McLeod stumped in the first for a duck off the third ball. And then Smith dismissing the captain, Dane van Neerkerk, LBW for 2. And in the same over, Maddie Villiers lobbing one up to Georgia Elwis at extra cover. Here she comes again then, Lindsay Smith from the C end, left arm round the wicket, this time little loose down the leg side, and it's just pushed down to deep mid wicket. And it will be a single for Griffith, who moves on to 13. The Sunrisers 17 for 3. Carr at the other end, who comes on to strike now. Amara Carr still yet to get off the mark for the Sunrisers. Vipers in their orange tops, black trousers. The Sunrisers, similar colours, I think. Is it navy blue, black maybe?
Navy blue and red, I think.
Navy blue and red. I saw their kit described as the best kit in the Charlotte Edwards T20 Cup
Really?
on social media earlier. It was by their own social media account, we should say. Comes Smith again, left arm, and again it's a little loose down the leg side. This one just whipped away down to deep square leg, and they're coming back for the second. That could be close. There's a dive and the finger goes up, run out, and the Sunrisers lose their 4th wicket. Brilliant fielding from the Vipers, never a second run there. Griffith again left stranded at the other end, and Amara Carr goes. The Sunrisers now 4 wickets down. Phil Green.
Yeah, never looked like a second run, did it? I mean, it's easy to say now because it wasn't, but it only needed an accurate flat throw, and that's exactly what we got. I think it was Alice Monaghan, who's as we know, is an excellent outfielder, and you'd think that the Sunrisers would know that as well. It seemed very risky to take her on, particularly when you've just lost 3 wickets. And I think, as you said, Jordan, it's almost summing up here what's going wrong in their season. It just doesn't seem to be a clear method or what they're looking at. It's all a bit confusing.
A little bit scrambled, all over the place.
Exactly. No game. Well, I'm sure there is a game plan. I'm not doubting that, but it's not sure if the players are all quite on the same wavelength here. And yeah, I mean, 4 wickets in the first 5 overs. You can tell how on top the Vipers are because they haven't changed the bowling. Normally they have a habit of bowling 1 over spells or 2 maximum, but obviously you've got Lindsay Smith having 3 wickets already. She's going to carry on and bowl through, I guess, and why not? So yeah, we've got a new batter on strike who's
Flo Miller.
Yeah,
joins Cordelia Griffith at the crease. This one's just defended into the offside by Miller, her first ball.
she's a Northants player, Flo Miller.
Again, Smith, left arm round the wicket, in between the stumps and the umpire with a run up. Again, pushed into the offside. Dot ball, no run. The Sunrisers 18 for 4. Smith again, round the wicket. Another dot ball into the offside. Really tidy stuff, this from Lindsay Smith, putting the pressure on the Sunrisers, forcing them to make the mistakes. And she comes again and again, same outcome. Pushed up towards extra cover. Dot ball, no run. Another brilliant over from Lindsay Smith. Another wicket falls for the Sunrisers. They are 18 for 4. At the end of the 5th over, the wicket to fall, Amara Carr for 1. And she was run out by Monaghan. Coming back for the second, the stumps clattered, the bails whipped off by Nicole Fulton. As the throw came in, there was a dive, a desperate dive from Amara Carr. But it wasn't enough. And the Vipers are in control, looking to book their place in Finals Day. At Finals Day on Saturday at New Road in Worcester, where they will hope to take on the Thunder in the Eliminator, the playoff, the semi-final.
We do have a bowling change now at the Cromwell Road end. Mary Taylor is coming into the attack to replace Anya Shrubsole. So sort of like for like in as much as they're both seamers. He was standing back for Taylor rather than standing up as she did for Anya Shopsall. So Mary Taylor is broken through into the side this year. Her sister's also on the Vipers playing staff. Taylor in, and that's short of a length, just back of a length, and Griffith, the back foot, forces it up to mid-on for no run. I was looking at the bios of the Sunrisers players and their favourite meals. I don't know if it's what they had pre-match, but Cordelia Griffiths likes a roast dinner, so I don't know if that was a pre-match dinner tonight.
Bit hot for a roast dinner for me at the moment.
Whereas her batting partner at the moment prefers a stir-fry, so there's a bit of info for you. Taylor in again, and Griffith goes to drive this, but no real pace on it. It just runs out on the offside to Lindsay Smith and no run.
I think the sports nutritionist would be happy with those two.
Wow.
Plenty of vegetables in there.
Yeah, I guess it's sort of a roast dinner can cover a multitude of things, really. Can't
Easy on the potatoes.
Yeah. I must say I'm partial to a roast dinner myself. That's a great choice. Mary Taylor in again. Back of a length again, so 3 balls very similar, and Griffith again just forced onto the back foot, giving nothing away. Mary Taylor.
No mushy peas on there, Phil.
No mushy peas, definitely.
We were treated to a pie and chips and mushy peas before the game.
Yeah.
Phil not happy with the mushy peas. All over the chips.
Yeah, it was unnecessary addition, I felt.
Got to get your greens in there somewhere.
Taylor in again. And that's driven by Griffith. A nice shot, but it's only going to pick up 1 out to the far boundary there, where that's, I think it's Alice Monaghan, or is it Emily Windsor?
Emily Windsor on that occasion.
Yeah, they switched sides, haven't they? So she comes in now for the new batter. That's a single to Griffith, taking the squad to 19. So Flo Miller, say from Northants, now on strike. Taylor in. And that's just played gently onto the leg side, so a good start this from Taylor. Good position to come on to bowl though when the other team are 4 down in 5 overs and can't really take it on. As a newish bowler or newish to the team, you'd probably want to come on in this sort of situation.
Yeah, pressure off.
Yeah.
Sun shining, decent track. Enjoy yourself.
In she comes again, running towards us, and that's just played again on the leg side. No run. At the end of the over, just the 1 run off Mary Taylor's first over, and that's the end of the power play. So the Vipers, if they wish, can send 2 further fielders outside of the circle. Whether they will or not in this situation, I'm not sure, but we'll see. But certainly in terms of the end of the power play, who's won the power play, they often talk about that, and I think it's pretty clear that the Vipers have won that particular phase of the game.
Yeah, I don't think there'll be many people debating that with you tonight, Phil. I think we are going to get a change of bowling at the C end as well. So Lindsay Smith has earned a bit of a rest.
Alice Monaghan.
Keep her an over back. Will be Alice Monaghan to take over, wearing the number 20.
Good opportunity for Alice, because she, over the last 2 or 3 years, she's played a lot of games for Vipers and doesn't get to bowl that many overs. She's been used a bit more this year than in the past, but I think Georgia has probably seen this as an ideal time for the reasons I just said. The other end, the ideal time to get her into the attack. So despite Lindsay Smith bowling so well, she's going to save an over of hers.
Will be right arm over the wicket from the C end. Off the long run. Monaghan is full and straight, 2 full. In fact, it's a wide given down the leg side by the umpire. First one of the evening. So the field for you now then, we've got cover back on the offside boundary away to our left-hand side. Ella McCacken's down in front of us at long on. And then we've got cow corner and deep square leg back as well as Monaghan comes in again. That's better outside the off stump. She's pushed into the offside. There's a single there through to cover.
So they did put all the 4 boundary fielders out. Maybe that's just for Griffith, possibly. Will they bring them in for?
Yeah, they will.
Batting, they should do, I'd have thought. Yeah.
They're going to bring...
Oh, actually not, because they're putting fine leg back. So still 4 out.
Moves Griffith on to 15, that single. 21 for 4, the Sunrisers against the Vipers. BBC Radio Solent Sport from the county ground in Hove. It's Monahan again. This one a bit shorter and just flicked into the leg side, down to fine leg, who has to come up and do the fielding. It's Mary Taylor back there. That will be a single to get Flo Miller off the mark, having faced 7 balls now. 22 for 4. And again, fielder goes back on the leg side. Cow corner. And the delivery again, full and straight, and just leaks into the leg side onto the pads. It's flicked round the corner by Griffith. And he'll come through again for the single. Moves on to 16. And the Sunrisers 23 for 4.
It's been a bit leg-sidey this over so far, but plenty of time for her to adjust.
Georgia Adams just with the word in the ear of Alice Monahan. Again, right arm over the wicket to the crease. That's better from Monahan, but she can't dive and stop the ball as it's flicked towards mid-on, and with McCacken back on the rope, Georgia Adams has to come across from mid-off to do the fielding, and Flo Miller will get through for the single. She moves on to 2. The Sunrisers 24 for 4. So it will be Monahan again into Griffith. Over the wicket to the crease, full and straight, and off the pads. It will trickle through to Nicole Fulton behind the stumps.
Normally about this stage, Sean, we'd be sort of saying, what do you think's a good score here? What sort of score are you looking for? I think with this start, you'd probably adjust it down, whatever we thought at the start. But I reckon in here, if they can get to about 120, they'll be very happy, the Sunrisers.
Yeah, from here you would think so. Yeah. In again, right arm over the wicket. Good drive up to Georgia Adams at mid-off. And Griffith comes through for the single. End of the over. The Sunrisers 25 for 4. Griffith on 17. Miller alongside her on 2. The wickets to fall. McLeod for a duck and Nearkirk for 2. Maddie Villiers for 1 and Amara Carr for 1 as well. It's been a good start from the Vipers in the sunshine at Hove. There's a fair bit of breeze out there. The Sussex flag away to our right above the scoreboard, the electronic scoreboard, is whipping around in the wind. We'll have another change of bowler for you, Bill.
It is. It's Nancy Harmon coming on from our road end, only her leg breaks. Good to see Nancy back. She hasn't played much this season. Didn't play in the 50 overs Rachel Hare Flint Trophy, but has made the team for several of these Charlotte Edwards Cup games, and she's now into the attack. Bowling to Griffith, who just defends it back to her. Just pushes forward. So she's got one fielder out on the offside and the cover boundary, and a long on deep mid-wicket and deep square, so a similar field to we had for the previous over. And again, this time Griffith sweeps, but it just hits her on the pad, trickles away down towards Anya Shubsolve, and they come through for a single, a leg by. So Sunrisers moves to 25 for 4. Sorry, 26 for 4. That was actually given as a run, my mistake. I thought it was off the pad, but Griffith up to 18. Harmon in again on the back foot, Miller, but can't get it past extra cover. Straight to Elwes. Yeah, it's a difficult situation for these Sunrisers batters because none of them are actually, other than Griffith, any sort of runs behind them in this competition either. In again, Harmon, and this is a nice shot from Miller. She's got it past extra cover this time, but won't take on a second. That mistake's been made once already. So just a single to Miller. So yeah, it's not, I'd say other than Griffith, there's nobody that's really got runs for them in this competition. So a lot on her shoulders right now. Or someone else to emerge from the pack. And that's a drag down by Harmon. And she might have got away with it. No, she hasn't. Griffiths has found the gap on the leg side. That was a really short delivery. In fact, it's gone for 6. I didn't realise it had gone all the way.
That's a huge hit as well.
It
Big
is.
Boundaries here at the county ground this evening.
It is a big boundary, and it was quite flat. I didn't realise it had gone that distance, but obviously has gone for 6. So that's a a good shot from Griffith, but a very poor ball, you have to say, from Nancy Harmon.
Got what it deserved.
Yeah. And again, that's better on the length, and Griffith just plays it gently on the offside, but picks the gap in the field to take a single. So, better over for the Sunrisers. They move up to 34 for 4 after 8.
Yeah, Griffith holding things together for them at the moment, as you said, Phil. 25. Flo Miller in the supporting role at the moment, just 3 from 10 deliveries.
Cordelia Griffith's one of those players that has been around for a few years now. That's not being disrespectful to her age. She's not very old at all, but she's been around for a while, and one of those you always think is going to break through into the England setup at some point, but has never quite got there. She's 27 now, so still got plenty of time on her side, but she's always been one of those players you think is perhaps in the next wave to move up.
Change of bowling from the CN, and Mary Taylor switching ends. So down in front of us now, right arm over the wicket, full and straight, and it's pushed up by Griffith to long on. McCacken does the fielding. 1 run. Sunrisers 35 for 4. Griffith on to 26. Georgia Adams, the Viper skipper, just comes in for a little chat with Mary Taylor. And a little change in the field as well. Fine leg now, just moving round slightly. Taylor again, right arm over the wicket. Again, full in straight. This sort of flick with the wrists down to long on again. McCacken with the fielding and the throw in. 1 bounce over the stumps to the hands of Taylor.
That's kind of modern sort of shot that you've just described there. You described very well, Jordan, with the flick of the wrist bit, where they sort of break the wrist after you make contact with the ball. It's a sort of modern way.
Taylor again, this time wider outside the off stump, and it's pushed out to the boundary. It's Emily Windsor doing the fielding out there away to our left.
Yeah, it's one of the things, you never used to coach that breaking the wrist, but it's a thing now, and you see it a lot with modern players.
Taylor again, right arm over the wicket, again outside the off stump, driven into the offside towards Emily Windsor. Second consecutive ball, another single to the Sunrisers. They move on to 38 for 4.
Gradually rebuilding, obviously from 18 for 4. It's a long way to go.
Bit of pace on the ball seems to be helping them as well. Taylor again, right arm over the wicket. That one is a full toss outside the off stump, and again Sunrisers not missing out on a bad ball, and Griffith drives it to the boundary through extra cover. 4 runs.
Pressure's been taken off a little bit the last couple of overs, and with two very poor balls, which have, as you said, got what they deserved.
Sunrisers 42 for 4. Griffith on to 31. Holding things together for the visitors this evening. Mary Taylor again, full and straight, wraps the pads of Griffith, who got stuck there. It was just drifting down the leg side. Not out, says the umpire.
Which umpire is that,
the 9th over. The Sunrisers 42 for 4.
Yeah, given not out by umpire Surrender and Shanmugam.
Nearly.
Yeah, nearly gave decision. He's already given 1 LBW, of course. It's interesting saying about Cordelia Griffith sort of having to being relied on in this team, but I remember a few years ago when I was involved in university cricket, she played for Durham University against us, and we had that discussion beforehand that she's the key wicket, and if we can get her, and she got about 185, I think, and
always the way,
and won the game for them. So yeah, I've seen her about a bit. We've got another change now. We're ringing the changes. Vipers. George Adams now bringing herself into the attack from the Cromwell Road end, just the 1 over from Gardner. Georgia Adams, who up to about 3 or 4 years ago very rarely bowled, but has become a key bowler in both formats for the Vipers in recent times.
What would the thinking behind that be, Phil? Just not letting the Sunrisers settle?
I think it's that, yeah. In she comes, and that's just turned away by Miller, gently down to deep square leg. It's what they normally do. As I said earlier, they do tend to rotate the bowling all the time, 1 over spells. Obviously Lindsay Smith bowled 3 at the start because she was going so well, but yeah, it is mainly that, I think, just so the batters don't settle into one bowler.
In contrast, of course, you say that difficult for a bowler to get settled with that as well, but I guess they've got to be used to that in the modern game.
Yes, exactly. Certainly in T20. And Adams, this one's just pushed back to... Yeah, I think they sort of know they could well bowl a one-over spell, so they have got to be geared up for it. But you're absolutely right. You want to get into a rhythm, you want to stay on sometimes, don't you? So Adams in again. That's sweep from Griffith, but didn't make contact, hits the pad and rolls out on the leg side. She won't pick up a run. Also, of course, they've got a lot of bowling options. Vipers, they always have several. Still haven't seen George Earl beside him as another bowler in this side. Adams in again with a slightly round arm action. Griffith turns out and Miller came through for the single. Griffith wasn't sure. She had to scurry up the other end, but throw one into the keeper, so she was safely home. Another single to her, takes up to 32. Sunrisers moving on to 44. Adams in again, that's Fuller. Driven back by Miller, but Adams fields off her own bowling. And it's interesting how George Adams has become a key bowler in this side, because she admits herself that she never really considered herself as a bowler until Charlotte Edwards sort of talked her into giving it a go. And she in again, and that one's just flicked on the leg side. There's nobody out there saving one, so it's an easy single as Freya Kemp comes in off the square leg boundary, so single to Miller. So starting to rebuild nicely here now, Sunrisers, but the halfway mark they're 45 for 4, which doesn't sound great, but when you consider they were 4 down in the 5th over, that's a partial recovery at least from the visitors.
Of course, great news for Jordan Adams as well, heading off to Australia in the winter to play as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's modern players now, these opportunities are great, aren't they, to get to do this sort of thing, and a lot of them go overseas. Even players at club level, below this level, a lot of them travel, male and female players. Fantastic experience for them.
Alice Monaghan coming back on from the sea end. And just tinkering with the field slightly with a bit of help from Anya Shrubsoil and captain Georgia Adams to her left at mid-off.
If you've got someone like Anya Shrubsoil out there, you'd always want to use her knowledge and experience, wouldn't you?
Yeah, it'd be silly not to. Yeah. So mid-wicket inside the ring now. Deep square leg back on the rope and shielding. Plenty of shielding of eyes out there from the low sun as it sets away to our left-hand side. Alice Monaghan, right arm over the wicket. One's just back of a length outside the off stump and slapped out towards extra cover. 1 run for Flo Miller, who moves on to 8. Sunrisers 46 for 4. Halfway through this final Charlotte Edwards Cup match for the Southern Vipers before they head off to finals day, it looks like, with a spot all but secured. And that one is pushed down to long on for the single for Griffith, who moves on to 33. The Sunrisers 47 for 4. Plenty of sunshine and blue skies this evening. Seagulls, as you always get here at Hove, making their way around the skies above. Monaghan again at the top of her run into the crease and bowls. This one's short and it's pulled away into the leg side, fielded at deep square leg by Lindsay Smith. Out there it is, doing the fielding, and whipped in over the stumps. Just the single for Flo Miller, who moves on to 9. Supporting role for her off 17 balls at the moment.
Interesting to see if Lindsay Smith's back in the England selectors sights. Sorry.
Well, today won't hurt, that's for sure.
Exactly.
Monaghan, right arm over the wicket. Just fielded on the leg side, dot ball, no run.
She was in the England team a few years ago in the white ball format. Certainly played in the World Cup in the West Indies, but seems to have been overtaken by a few other options in recent times. But having a very good season for Vipers.
Alice Monaghan to continue. That's a slower ball out the back of the hand. Spotted by Griffith, driven up to mid-off. He'll come through for the single. 49 for 4. Slow, patient play from the Sunrisers at the moment, rebuilding after a terrible start, losing their first 4 wickets. Just 18 runs. Alice Monaghan, right arm over the wicket. Another slower ball, this time spotted by Miller. Driven into the offside. 1 run, fielded at extra cover. End of the 11th over. The Sunrisers past the 50 mark. 50 for 4.
Yeah, good rebuilding job, you'd have to say, from these two. Griffith taking the more dominant role, but well supported by Flo Miller, who's moved up to 10. But really need to step on it a little bit now. As you said, I think 120 would be absolute minimum, personally. We've got Lindsay Smith coming back on now to bowl her final over. So that's not going to help the Sunrisers' cause. She's got 3 for 4 from her 3 overs so far, which are good figures in any cricket, but particularly in a T20 game.
Yeah, down the hill.
Yeah, change of ends for her.
Interesting to see what impact that has, if any.
Kev was talking when we were at Hove before about the impact of bowling down the hill or up the hill at Hove, and how it doesn't actually make as much difference as people think. That was his view. Smith in round the wicket, and Griffith goes for quite a big hit, but gets an outside edge, and it's running down towards us, and this might go all the way. It does. Nancy Harmon makes a bold effort to try and pull it back, but can't, so that's a bit of a lucky fall from Griffith. Threw the bat at it, threw her hand through it, and it's flown away. It's actually Miller, sorry, my mistake. It's actually Flo Miller who's got that through on the offside for 4. Moves her up to 14. But yeah, Kev was saying that you always assume that the
in the mind.
The senior bowler would come down the hill, but people like Malcolm Marshall often prefer to bowl up the hill. Smith in again, that's just driven back to him. I think it's because when you come down the hill, you can lose your run up quite easily, lose your stride. Smith in again, round the wicket. Uses her feet there, Miller, and drives it down to mid-off, long off for a single. Yeah, Kev was saying he never ever had the choice anyway, so it didn't bother him. He just had to bowl from the end he was told.
That doesn't surprise me.
Smith into Griffith. Oh, that's another outside edge. A slower ball from Smith, and a genuine outside edge from Griffith, and she's going to get 4 again. So that's a second valiant chase in this over down in front of us, but both times the ball has hit the rope before the fielder can pull it back. It was Mary Taylor that time, Harmon previously, but neither of them could pull it in. 4 more to Griffith.
Be tempted to pop a little slip in there.
Well,
2 off the outside edge in the over.
Yeah, and that was certainly a traditionally sort of flighted left-arm delivery and a genuine edge through the slip.
Just for the final couple of balls, no change.
No, they haven't changed it. Smith in again. And this time Griffiths on the defence, just plays it back down the wicket to Smith. So her 4th over's not proved quite as fruitful as the previous 3, but still going to finish with good figures here.
We'll blame the slope.
Yeah. Smith in again. And Griffith just plays it on the offside. Smith fields off her own bowling to prevent a single. And at the end of the 12th over, the Sunrisers have moved on to 59 for 4. Griffith on 38, Miller on 15.
And it will be Anya Shrubsall, I think, by the looks of it. He's going to switch ends as well and come on at the C ends.
Trying all variations here, Georgia Adams. And I suppose with Saturday in her mind, she's going to try everything she can and experiment with different things. As you were saying earlier, we're not sure, I don't think, who's going to be available on Saturday, whether the England players will be released. But if they're not, this will very likely be the side or the nucleus of the side that plays, I guess.
2 overs so far for Shrubsall, no wickets, 13 runs. Change of end, will that help? Right arm over the wicket, just back of a length outside the off stump, well fielded by Lindsay Smith. At point, dot ball, no run.
It's a good fielder, Lindsay Smith. She's got that low centre of gravity, hasn't she? And that helps in that position, particularly at backward point.
Lindsay Smith finishing with figures of 3 wickets for 13 runs. 1 maiden in there as well, the first over of the game from her 4 overs. Shrubsall again beats the outside edge. That ball, no run. Sunrisers 59 for 4. You're listening to BBC Radio Southern Sport with Jordan Clark and Phil Green, live from the county ground in Hove. Charlotte Edwards Cup. The Southern Vipers, a win will officially secure their spot in finals day on Saturday at Worcester. Shrubsall again, right arm over the wicket. That's pulled into the leg side from outside the off stump, fielded by deep square leg. Whipped in over the top of the stumps by Freya Kemp.
She fetched that from a long way outside off, didn't she, to get it through on the leg side.
Flo Miller moves on to 16. That brings Griffith back onto strike. Again, leading the way for the Sunrisers, like she has done this season. 38 not out. Shrubsole again, this one just slightly off line into the leg side. Flicked off the hip by Griffith. She'll move on to 39. The Sunrisers 61 for 4. 2 balls left in the over. Shadows really starting to stretch across the pitch now from the left as well in the pavilion. Shrubsole, right arm over the wicket, just back of a length, and again it's pulled into the leg side, sort of punched up towards long on, where Alan McCacken does the fielding, just the single for Miller.
It's the modern way, this, isn't it, in white ball cricket, Jordan, where they basically give you a single anywhere on the leg side. There's nobody saving one on the leg side at all, so you just got to work it over there, and it's an easy run. It just seems to be the way to go nowadays.
Final ball of the over, Shrubsall. That's outside the off stump, back of a length, and slapped 1 bounce 4 straight back over Anya Shrubsall's head. Great shot from Griffith there.
Yeah, it's an interesting shot because you say it was a back of a length ball. She hit it back over her head and was sort of cross-batted it back.
Didn't really move her feet at all, just stood and delivered.
Yeah, just threw her hands through it, and it went a long way, sort of 1 bounce 4 back over Shrubsole.
That moves the Sunrisers on to 66 for 4. Griffith's 7 away now from a half century.
They need a few shots like that in these last overs. So change again, obviously had to be with Lindsay Smith being bowled out now. And Georgia Adams bringing herself back into the attack for a second over from the Cromwell Road end. Bowling to Miller, who's just turned it on the leg side for the single. They did think of 2, but quickly in off the boundary is Monaghan. And they don't make the mistake of running a second to her that they made earlier on. So it's a single to Miller. Adams in again, and that's swept by Griffith, and she's got that fine of the square leg fielder, and that's going to be another boundary. So that's just, it's gone on the angle between the short fine leg and the deep square, picked out the boundary. Good placement by Griffith, taking her up to 47.
Yeah, lovely shot. She's batting really well, with the pressure on as well, as we've been saying.
Yep. Adams in again. That's just pushed on the offside. No run. Yeah, I'm just going to, the vast majority of the runs for her side here. This time she just drives it back at Adams again field, so 2 dot balls in a row. Good comeback from Adams after being hit for 4. Still got that field where there's a run anywhere on the leg side, but a ring on the offside. Almost asking the batter to try and hit it through the off with that field. Nobody back. This one is just driven up to long off for a comfortable single, which will bring Miller back on strike. 72 now, Sunrisers. 50 partnership has been passed in this over, which is a good recovery from these 2. And this time Miller just forces it again up to long off. Another comfortable single to end the over. That's 73 for 4. 6 to go.
Yeah, you have to say Flo Miller doing a good job as well.
Very good job.
The other 4 wickets to fall as you said, not in a great way really for the Sunrisers. Flo Miller coming in and providing that support for Cordelia Griffith.
Yeah, it was a tame effort from some of the earlier batters, I think, if I'm honest.
Another change of bowling from the CN.
Elwes.
Georgia Elwes to come on for the first time this evening.
She's been bowling a lot more this year. A couple of years hasn't bowled very much at all, with all the bowlers the Vipers had, but she's been pressed into service a lot more this year and done well in both formats.
So right arm over the wicket, full and straight, and punched off the back foot up to Georgia Adams at mid-off, just on the edge of the ring. Just the one run for Miller. And again, just hands the strike back to Griffith.
Yeah, I think that's her role right now. Try and get Griffith on strike as much as possible.
Cordelia Griffith just steps away, then returns to the crease, taps the bat down a couple of times. Elwes comes in again to bowl. This one strays onto the pads and it's pulled away by Cordelia Griffith. She's found the gap between fine leg and deep square leg, and it's all the way for 4. These are really important runs for the Sunrisers, who looked in real trouble earlier on. 18 for 4. They have now got themselves onto 78 for 4. And Griffith goes past the half century as well, onto 52.
Of 44 balls with 7 fours and a 6. So, despite everything happening all around her, she's got her run rate going very well, personally.
Really good job so far from Griffith. Elwes in again, and that's pulled away into the leg side. Will it go all the way?
Yep.
Not quite. I think one bounce just in front of the ropes. Another 4 back-to-back boundaries for Cordelia Griffiths, who's moving through the gears, having reached the half century. The Sunrisers onto 82 for 4 now. Cordelia Griffiths onto 56.
As you said, Jordan, they put the boundaries a long way back, which is good to see, because quite often in the ladies' games they move them in too close, I think.
Elwes again, drifting down the leg side. This one flicked to fine leg, who's short on the single. Mary Taylor there doing the fielding. Good throw in, but good running from Flo Miller there.
Yeah, because that ball would have been 6 on a lot of grounds that we played these games on. But it's nice to see them put out at a decent distance, I think. I think that was the problem with the women's IPL, that the boundaries were far too short. It spoilt the game as a spectacle, really.
In comes Elwes again, right arm over the wicket to Miller, who just leans back onto the back foot and pushes the ball up to mid-off, dot ball, no run. The fielder's away to our right as well, really struggling with the sun at the moment. She's just coming down over the pavilion and main stand away to our left-hand side. Elwes again to bowl. She's brilliant delivery, Yorker in at the toes. Flo Miller has to depart, make her way back to the dressing room. She's dismissed for 20 off 29 balls. The Vipers have their 5th wicket, and the Sunrisers are 83 for 5.
Yeah, it was a good innings from Flo Miller. Good delivery to end it. A Yorker on a leg stump, as you said. And when you're looking to score, that's always a dangerous ball. And did the trick for Georgia Elwes, but a good contribution from Miller in that partnership, which raised 65. So a very handy contribution.
Elwes looked a little bit to me, she delivered the ball, that she stumbled.
Really? I didn't pick up on that.
On the delivery, which just threw me, and then...
And that may be through the batter a bit as well, if you see the bowler stumbling a bit. I didn't notice that, but...
It might have just been the way she adjusted her feet, maybe, to deliver the ball. Had to wait a little while for the breakthrough after 4 quick wickets. The Vipers strike again.
Now got Eva Gray at the crease, of Surrey player. He's moved over from South East Stars this year to Sunrisers. All-rounder, Eva. So that was the end of the over, and it's Adams bowling again and Griffith on strike. She's now on 57 as Adams comes in. That's a bit flatter from her, and she's turned it away on the leg side. Running the first one quickly, and Gray wanted to, but was never really going to be there. It's just the one to Griffith, taking her up to 58. Gray now on strike. Her food of choice is lasagna, I can inform you.
Nice variety.
Yeah, there is
so
a
far.
variety. There's, I never got the chance to say Maddie Villiers, and it's quite a complicated dish, so I'm probably quite pleased.
Well, everyone wants to know now. So.
I don't even know what it is, but I'm sure it's very tasty. So Adams in again, and that's turned away by Gray. She's off the mark straight away. Single into the leg side. Again, running the first one hard as if she wants two, but it's never going to be two out there. So yeah, Maddie Villiers' choices: Bayo beans with rice paper rolls and pasta sauce. Anyway, Adams is in again. Griffith turns it onto the leg side for a single. Again.
I'm looking it up now. Bao buns and rice paper rolls with peanut sauce.
Sorry, not beans.
They're very nice. I have tried them myself.
Okay. Something you can get around these parts, is it? Would you have had that before the game, maybe?
Oh, I'm not sure. I had it on holiday, so...
Okay. So it's Adams in again, and this time just played nicely by Gray on the offside for a single. Quick single. Fulton whips the bails off. Griffith set off straight away and made her ground safely. So it's another run for Gray, taking the score to 87 for 5. So what sort of dish is it? A sort of... Sounds like a Caribbean sort of dish, is it?
Yeah, I'm not sure where it originates from.
Okay.
They're quite pale, sort of almost like burger buns that kind of fold.
Okay.
Describing it terribly. I'm sure there's probably somewhere on our way out, Phil, that we might be able to stop off.
This time Adams bowls and Griffith goes for a late cut and sets off for a single, but Gray turns her back as Nancy Harmon fields very quickly at backward point. And there's no run. Griffith's now on 59. Adams in again. That's a flatter delivery. Oh, she's got the outside edge, and this is probably going to run away for another 4. I don't think Harmon's going to pull that in. No, it's the third time we've seen the ball flying off the edge down to third man, and it's gone to the boundary. Just runs away down the hill. And that's 4 to Griffith, taking her up to 63. And they've scored 91 for 5. There's 4 overs remaining for the Sunrisers to push this total up to something they feel they can defend. Well, I'm sure they feel they can defend anything in their minds, but as I said before, I would say 120 is an absolute minimum, but that's looking more of a possibility now while Griffith's at the crease.
Not just here for the cricket. Here you go. Look, I brought up on the screen a Bayo bun. I'm not sure how you pronounce it. Someone will be able to tell us, I'm sure. What do you think?
Well, Maddie Villiers for a start,
yeah,
because that's her favourite dish. Yeah, it looks quite interesting.
Maybe more like would you describe it as a taco, the way you fold it and hold it?
I guess so.
Than a burger bun, but looks more like a burger bun. This is the content you tuned in for this evening.
I can certainly relate more to the roast dinner that was picked by someone else, personally. Right.
It will be Mary Taylor back on from the C end. Right arm over the wicket, just outside the off stump. It's guided down to backward point. And there will be a couple there for Gray, who gets off the mark. Oh, she's already off the mark, wasn't she? Of course, moves on to 4 with those 2. Does Eva Gray. And we'll keep hold of the strike.
There's one player we haven't mentioned who's actually missing from the Sunrisers tonight. It's Grace Scribbins, the England under-19 captain, who started the season scoring runs for fun.
Mary Taylor in again. That's full. It's straight. It's a full toss. Comes off the top edge, but it bounces in front of Georgia Adams. Leading edge, really, it was, from Gray. Gets away with it and will come through for the single. Sunrisers onto 94 for 5. Gray onto 5. Yeah, Scriven's away with England again at the moment.
Yeah.
Mary Taylor in again to bowl, full and straight outside the off stump. That was a good delivery. Griffith using her feet, trying to come down the track, but couldn't make contact with the ball. She started to jam the bat down into the ground.
When they played at the Ageas Bowl at the start of the season, then Rachel Hove, it was in April, about April the 22nd, and she'd already scored something like 4 centuries in pre-season games, and she looked in fantastic form and got 60 or so that day.
Mary Taylor again, another full one, another full toss. It's Slap down towards long on. It bounces in front of Ella McCacken. One bounce and then fielded and whipped back in over the stumps. Just the single for Griffith. Moves on to 64. Sunrisers approaching the 100 mark. 95 for 5. And brings Gray back onto strike.
Trying to put their foot down now, aren't they? And make the best of these last overs.
Yeah, 3.2, 3.1 overs remaining as they come through for the single for Gray.
After out there now, Xania Shopsall went to throw that ball back and it actually just trickled behind her, slipped out of her hand, and her colleagues are finding that quite amusing.
Yeah, the former England international seeing the funny side as well. That's another full toss. It's a top edge straight up into the air. Mary Taylor is sprinting after it. She's not going to get there. Legal delivery, I think. So it'll just be a single for Griffith. It looked like it was a little bit high.
Yeah, I think it was probably about knee high, which is okay. Of course, it has to be above waist high to be a no ball.
End of the 17th over. The Sunrisers 97 for 5. Griffith on 65. Gray on 6. 3 overs to go. BBC Radio Solent Sport.
Yes, so whichever way you look at it, a good recovery from Sunrisers. We were thinking, well, I don't know if you were thinking the same, John, but we were thinking it could be quite an early night at one point.
Yeah, after those first 4 went.
Back on that road a bit earlier than planned, but maybe not the case anymore. Anya Shropsall now switching to the Cromwell Road end where she started. Coming back for her last over. With Griffith on strike. And that's a bit of a heave there from Griffith, trying to invent some sort of shot over the leg side from a ball outside off stump, and she's made no contact. It's gone through to the keeper who stood up, who took the bails off, but no question that she was out of her ground. So a dot ball to start the 18th over. Shropsall in again. This time again, Griffith's going for quite an expansive shot outside the off stump this time. It again failed to make contact, taken by the keeper. So Griffith, her partner's now coming down to have a word with her. Not sure what that would be, but some words of advice. Or maybe just discussing their meals like we were, but I don't know. Shropsall in again. That's a full toss which Griffith slaps straight to extra cover and is caught. That's gone straight to Georgia Elwes. I think she was trying to hit that straighter than it went, but it sort of went off the 3/4 edge out to extra cover, looped up for a fairly simple catch. But that's a great effort from Cordelia Griffith, out for 65 off 54 deliveries, which was very needed by her side.
Yeah, important innings there from Griffith. Really, when the Sunrisers needed it after that collapse to start off with. Yeah, they still feel it's really needed her to stick around for those last 3 until the end.
She was the key in the last few hours. I just got the impression that she was trying to overhit. The first 2 that she missed, she was playing. She seemed to be playing more expansively than she had been up till then, and then even that shot, she seemed to be trying to hit it out of the ground really. And I know that's sort of T20 cricket, but she seemed to lose her shape a little bit. Those 3 deliveries, I think.
Yeah, I'd say that's fair.
We've now got Kelly Castle at the crease, who the former captain, now say, of the Sunrisers. That's replaced for today's game. Shropsall into her, and she's got an outside edge there, tried to turn out to the leg, but it's come to the offside and well fielded by Adams, a short third man, but it's come through for a single. Ellie Castle, who plays club cricket at Billericay, I say that because I know that they listen at Billericay, because they always text in with comments about the games, so it's a shout out for Billericay Cricket Club, which is her home club. And we've got Eva Gray back on strike now. Soul in, and that's just turned away on the leg side. Gentle single. Down to deep square leg where Freya Kemp is fielding. Freya Kemp, of course, not able to bowl at the moment. She would normally be a bowling option for Vipers and indeed England, but just coming back from injury and playing purely as a batter at the moment. So he's back to full fitness. Shrubsole. That's a full delivery, and it's driven back at Shrubsole, who gets a foot on it and deflects it to mid-off, but enough of a foot to stop the single. And at the end of the 18th over, Sunrisers have moved on to 99 for 6, having lost Cordelia Griffith in that over for 65.
2 overs to go. BBC Radio Solent Sport. The sun is setting away to our left in the west here at Hove, and the county ground where the Southern Vipers are in control against the Sunrisers, and look to certainly be booking their place at finals day on Saturday at New Road in Worcester, where they will take on Thunder in the playoff match, the semi-final, the eliminator, whatever you're calling it these days, with the Blaze waiting in the final. Here we go. The Mary Taylor continue from the CN. That's another full delivery in at the toes of Gray. Just managed to keep it out. We'll roll through to Nicole Fulton behind the stumps. Dot ball, no run.
Crowd starting to fill up a bit since I mentioned it earlier. Still not. It's hard to gauge exactly how many are here, but more certainly coming since the start.
Taylor, full toss, whipped into the leg side. It'll bounce safely and roll through to the fielder away to our right, and they'll come back for the second, and then Gray nearly gets a whack from Nicole Fulton as she gathers the ball and turns to try and take the bails off. We'll move the Sunrisers past 100 onto 101 for 6. Gray on 9, Castle alongside her on 1. Here comes Mary Taylor again. Full toss. Again, scooped away into the leg side. And it's Alice Monaghan who does the fielding for the second consecutive ball away to our right on the boundary.
Gray a bit disappointed there because that was a ball that she probably could have hit anywhere. Got a sort of slower ball, full toss, but she picked out the fielder perfectly on the leg side.
102 for 6 now, the Sunrisers. Mary Taylor in, right arm over the wicket, slower ball and defended, and they'll scramble through for a single with the ball just dropping into the leg side. Everyone back for the Vipers on the boundary.
That's between a clash in the physical sense between the bowler and the runner. Then they sort of certainly unintentional, I think, but both going for the ball, and there was a sort of shoulder contact, but Gray seemed to win that particular contest.
8 balls remaining, 2 of this over. And comes Mary Taylor for a penultimate delivery. Fuller length and pulled into the leg side again. Monaghan does the fielding out on the leg side boundary with one hand up in the air to shield her eyes. The ball comes in. Just the single picked up for the Sunrisers. Gray onto 11. They're onto 104 for 6. Vipers will be very confident of chasing this total down. Mary Taylor again, slower ball out the back of the hand. It's a loopy one. It's just defended by Castle into the offside. Dot ball, no run. End of the 19th over, the Sunrisers 104 for 6.
I think there was 3 balls out of the back of the hand, slow balls in that over. It's obviously one of her go-to deliveries at the end of the innings. And they have to practice that so much to get that right. It's such a difficult thing to do. But when you're sort of training every day or most days, it's obviously easier, but it's quite a risky, it always seems a risky delivery, but so many of them now seem to nail it. Georgia Adams bowling the last over, which I don't think she normally does, but as we've said before, trying a few different things today. This will be her last over, 3 overs for 18 at the moment, and that's swept away by Gray for 4 to start the over. For 6, actually. Sorry, it's the second time today that I didn't realise it'd gone the whole way. But that's good contact from Gray.
Another big hit.
Probably the shortest part of the ground, but still a good hit. Over sort of long leg, you'd have to call it. So, yeah, good start to the last over for Sunrisers. Gray on to 17 quite quickly. Adams in again. And this time she hits it straight. Adams may have got a hand on that, I think, to take the pace off it. It's gone down to long off for a single. Gray up to 18, a good little contribution from her here. 18 off 12 balls. Now Castle on strike. Castle trying to turn that on the leg side, but hits on the pad. They're not going to get a single for that. Score remains on 111, the bogey number in English cricket. That's a reverse sweep from Castle. It goes off the pad and trickles away for a run, yeah, so she's got a bit of bat on it. So when the score's on 111, David Shepherd, famous ex-umpire, would have been standing on one leg, at square leg, or wherever he was. Adams in again, and that's flicked away by Gray, and she's going to come back for a second. Does she know? Castle says no. Probably a wise move because the throw came in very quickly to the bowler's end. But Gray, I think, wanted to get back on strike for the last ball of the innings. But she's the non-strike, so she's going to have to watch and see what her teammate Kelly Castle can do with this last delivery from Adams. She goes down the wicket and flicks it through the leg side. Will probably come back for second, I guess, because you sort of have to at this stage, but it's going to be run out by quite a distance, and is run out by quite a distance. Sacrificing herself there, which is, of course, the right thing to do at the last ball of the innings. But Windsor's throw beat her by 2 or 3 yards, and they'll get the one for the first run, and the score will finish on 1-1-3 for 6. Not enough, I would have thought, Jordan.
Southern Vipers will be very happy with that. So they will be chasing 114 for victory, and officially, with that win, if they get it, book their place at finals day on Saturday in the Charlotte Edwards Cup. Well, they'll take on the Thunder in the Eliminator. Got to get the job done first, though, with the bat. Phil, just sum up that Sunrisers innings and the bowling performance from the Vipers.
Yeah, I think, well, firstly, looking at the Sunrisers batting, as we've said, the early, first 3 or 4 overs, very disappointing, some very soft dismissals. The very first over, batter just drifting out of their ground and missing a turning ball. Then we had a couple of more soft dismissals, so they're on the back foot straight away. But you have to say, from that situation, came back pretty well, largely down to Cordelia Griffith, who played a great hand for 65. Looked to be batting at a different level to anybody else in that innings, it has to be said. So they got up to a total which they'll feel they can defend, but it's probably not enough, shouldn't be enough. From the Vipers' point of view, great start from Lindsay Smith, and when you take 3 wickets in your first 2 overs at the start of the innings, it puts your team on top. After that, it was an opportunity to give different bowlers a bowl and vary it around, a lot of 1-over spells, and I think they'll be happy with how most people bowled. The fielding was generally pretty good. I don't remember any drop catches or misfields that cost anything, so I think they'll be happy from that point of view, and they just got to get the job done now, really. I can't do the maths off the top of my head, but I think to not qualify now, they'd have to be
This is a higgity feast. There's plenty of this, and this, and these as well. We top it like this, and bake it like that. Higgity. Baked generously. This is a higgity feast. There's plenty of this, and this, and these as well. We top it like this, and bake it like that. Higgity. Baked generously. This is a higgity feast. There's plenty of this, and these as well. We top it like this, and bake it like that. Higgity. Baked generously. This is a higgity feast. There's plenty of this, and these as well. We top it like this, and bake it like that. Higgity. Baked generously.
Radio station.
Ready whenever, mate, yeah.
A little bit fresher now. What about elsewhere? Just for you today, elsewhere. Yes.
Thank you, Adam. Welcome back to the county ground in Hove, where it is a beautiful evening. The sun just setting away to our left-hand side, and the Vipers are chasing 115 for victory against the Sunrisers. And Kate Kopak has just got off to a wide ball with the first delivery of the second innings. So the Vipers off the mark with that wide, one without loss. It is Ella McCacken opening up, batting at number one with Nicole Fulton, the wicketkeeper, alongside her. And there's an edge off the outside of the bat, and it's flown through past the wicketkeeper and first slip all the way towards the boundary, and it will go over the rope for 4. Fulton just taps the bat down at this end and then strolls back up towards Ella McCacken and says, well done, make the most of that now, having just got away with that one.
Found the gap between keeper and slip perfectly, didn't it?
That will be Kovac again. So right arm over from the C end here, the county ground. Again, it's outside the off stump, beats the outside edge this time of Ella McCacken. The Vipers are 5 without loss. They've pretty much already secured their place at finals day on Saturday at Worcester, but a win and a victory here would absolutely cement it. It would take one incredible batting collapse, I think, for their run rate to deteriorate so much that they weren't to make it to finals day. There's another delivery outside the off stump from Kopak. Dot ball, no run. Your fielder's back for the power play outside the circle on the rope. We've got third man and deep square leg for the Sunrisers. They're in navy blue with orange and yellow sleeves. Right arm over the wicket again from Kopak, and that's in the air from McCacken, flicked into the leg side over the fielder at mid-wicket, and it'll roll all the way for 4. Second boundary of the over for Ella McCacken, and the Vipers move on to 9 without loss, but living dangerously a little bit, the Vipers opener.
Yeah, the first boundary went between keeper and slip, genuine edge. That one was a better shot, but only just cleared a mid-wicket. It was actually quite close. It's on a catching position. It went over her head. But she hit that one well, picked it up well.
Kopak again, right arm over the wicket, outside the off stump, and that's a lovely shot this time from McCacken. No doubt with that one. Just punched into the offside. Past point all the way to the boundary for 4 back-to-back boundaries. Third 4 of the opening over for McCacken. She moves on to 12. The Vipers 13 without loss, and very close to already needing under 100 runs for victory.
Yes, fantastic start. They won't want to take too long trying to get these runs. Get the job done.
Kate Kopak again, right arm over the wicket from the C end up the hill here at Hove. Floodlights on. Shadow now right the way across the full length of the pitch. Is a dot ball outside of the off stump. It's the end of the first over. The Vipers 13 without loss. McCacken on 12. Fulton yet to face a ball and get off the mark. Phil Green.
Yeah, Kate Kopak just bowled that over. Had a fantastic spell at the Ageas Bowl last year in the Rachel Hayhoe Flint Trophy, and I think she took 5 for and completely ruined the top order, the Vipers' attack, but not so much success tonight. Far end we've got, I think it's Eva Gray bowling.
Eva Gray, yep.
Former South East Stars player. Fulton on strike, and one of the things that the Vipers will be looking to get out of this game will be for Nicole Fulton to get some runs on the board. She's batted the top of the order in all 6 games so far, and only accrued about 30 odd runs, so she needs a bit behind her. She leaves the first ball alone outside off stump, so I think they'd like to see, as well as obviously winning the game, I think the Vipers would like to see Fulton at least get in some form, if not others. But that would be one of the things I'll be looking for from this innings. Less attacking field now already. The slip's been taken out, and Neerkirk has moved herself out of that position. Gray in again, back of a length, and Fulton plays it nicely into the offside, but can't get it through past the field. Fielded there by, I think that might be the debutant, Esme McGregor. brought in from the academy side at Sunrisers for a debut tonight. Gray in again, bustling run up. That's wide, and Fulton threw the bat at it. I think she actually, the ball went underneath the bat and didn't carry through to the keeper even, so maybe a slower delivery there. Bounced through to Amara Carr. Gray, not very tall in stature, but generates a fair bit of pace, very energetic run up. Member of the Oval Invincibles team in the 100, successful team last season. Gray in again, down the hill from the Cromwell Road end. That's a nice shot from Fulton, but can't pierce that packed field on the offside. There's 4 fielders in a ring there, 5 if you count this short third man. And again, there's no run. She's still to get off the mark. No rush, of course, with this total, but she'll be keen. Every player's always wants to get off the mark in any sort of innings.
Yeah, it's good tidy opening over this from Gray as well, not really giving her any chance.
Yeah. In she comes again. And again, she is off the mark this time, not maybe in the way she wanted. That looking to play out the offside, but it's actually squeezed off the inside edge and gone out towards the square leg umpire, and they've managed to come through for a single. So Fulton off the mark, and she's now telling her partner McCacken what's happening with the ball. There's obviously something going on, some sort of movement or swing that she's informing her of. At the other end, you can't always see that if you're not actually facing. So Gray in again now to McCacken. McCacken goes for a late cut but doesn't make any contact. And that's a good start from Gray. Just the 1 run off the over, and it's 14 for 0 from 2 overs.
It's that time of the evening, isn't it, where things start to happen, if they are going to happen out there, with the ball, the air, the floodlights on, dusk, sun just setting away to our left-hand side.
You're making it sound almost impossible to bat there, Jordan. All those factors, yeah.
Got to adjust your eyes a little bit. We'll wait and see what impact it has. Nothing on Ella McCacken in that first over, although give a couple of chances. 4 boundaries.
Change of bowling already.
It will be
Maddie Villiers, I think.
It will be Maddie Villiers from the CN. So a bit of spin, take the pace off the ball. Fulton on strike. Villiers will be right arm over the wicket. Sweep shot from Fulton. It's a wide ball. And now scramble through for the single as well. So 2 wides to start for Maddie Villiers. The Vipers on to 14 without loss. The field, everyone in on the offside. 2 out on the leg side. Got deep square leg and deep mid wicket / cow corner as well. Second ball of the over from Villiers, or first legal delivery. That is flicked into the leg side by Ella McCacken for the single. She'll move on to 13, the Vipers on to 17. It brings the wicketkeeper Nicole Fulton back on to strike. So the situation, well, the Vipers 3rd in the table at the moment on 17 points. Victory would take them up and above Thunder into 2nd. And there's a great delivery from Maddie Villiers, and Fulton is bowled. And she departs for just 1. Another disappointing innings for the Vipers wicketkeeper Nicole Fulton, making her way back to the pavilion. The Sunrisers have their first wicket. The Vipers are 17 for 1.
Yeah, trying a sweep shot there. It looked like she played it a bit early. I don't know if it was held back a bit, but she seemed to almost be through the shot and when it bowled her. So, yeah, as you say, another disappointing innings from Fulton. It'd be interesting to see what they do on Saturday with the batting order. We don't know about the England players. I don't think we know what's going to happen. If they're not available, then it's probably going to be a similar side. Obviously, if they are available, that will change things up a little bit with the likes of Danny White and Boucher being available. Either both or whatever combination of those. Anyway, we've got Georgia Elwis new to the crease now at number 3.
So Villiers has her first wicket. Still 4 balls left in the over after a wide to start. Elwis just takes her time, steps away and then back to the crease, having marked her guard. Villiers right arm over the wicket with that spin. Rebs on the ball, defended away by Elwes. No run.
With that wicket, Villiers is now the leading wicket taker this season in this competition for the Sunrisers. She was level with Kelly Castle beforehand.
Villiers again. This time Elwes just nudges one into the leg side round the corner. Gets herself off the mark. The Vipers on to 18, brings McCacken back on to strike. So it'll be the Thunder against Southern Vipers in the Eliminator on Saturday, with a chance to face the Blaze in the final. That's high, up into the air, into the leg side and caught. Ella McCacken dismissed. She'd lived a little dangerously in her innings. Seeing one go through the slips in between the wicketkeeper and the slips, the opening ball of the game, then one just over the head of mid-wicket. This time, at the third attempt, she finds deep mid-wicket, and Ella McCacken is dismissed for 13, and the Vipers, all of a sudden, 18 for 2.
Yeah, maybe not as straightforward as we were talking about here. 2 wickets in the over for Villiers. That was a bit of a nothing shot, you have to say. She didn't really seem to go fully through with it. It carried a long way to the long boundary at deep mid-wicket, but it was a very comfortable catch for Flo Miller out there. And it just looked as if she didn't give it everything, maybe. But anyway, it's another wicket and brings the captain into the crease, Georgia Adams.
2 wickets in the over for Maddie Villiers. Still 1 ball to come. Right arm over the wicket to Adams, who on the front foot flicks one into the leg side, and there's a misfield, and they hesitate, Georgia Adams and Georgia Elwes. Elwes sending Adams back, so no run, dot ball, end of the third over. 2 wickets to fall for the Vipers. They are 18 for 2.
It's one of those things you taught at a very early age. Don't run on a misfield, isn't it? I can remember being told that. It never really makes a lot of sense, because quite often misfield can go 40 yards away.
A great opportunity to nick a single.
But that was certainly a case where they went by that adage and didn't run on it, but I think they probably could have done. But they're not rushed for time at the moment, the Vipers. So we've got Eva Gray for her second over from the Cromwell Road end. Good first over, I think just a 1 run off it. She's going to be bowling to George Elwes, who is on 1 currently. The field being adjusted. Now another one coming to the offside, so we've got 6 on the offside. Sort of suggesting what line she's going to bowl here. He comes in, down the hill. And Elwes goes for a drive, but doesn't really time it. It just rolls back to the bowler. There's been quite a few missed time shots tonight. Perhaps it's sticking in the wicket a little bit.
Yeah, I'd say so. It certainly looked that way. You're right. A few batters struggling with it this evening.
So Gray in again. That's short. Elwes able to get onto the back foot and push it through the leg side, and she's going to come back for the second. That's good running. The throw wasn't great anyway. It made Marakar move several yards to her left, so there was no danger of a run out. 2 for Elwes.
Can't be the easiest as well when you've got several different home grounds. Of course, this being a home fixture for the Vipers again, to sort of constantly adjust to the different wickets.
Absolutely. That's one of the beauties of cricket in a way. Gray in again, and that's cut away by Elwes beautifully through the offside. That's going to be 4.
Lovely shot.
Yeah, just waited, used the pace of the ball and just ran it away. The sort of shot that Joe Root's quite famous for in the men's game. Just sort of ran it through third man. Ollie Pope's another one who perfected that sort of shot, and timed beautifully that time. So Elwes taking her on to 7. But yeah, you're right, Jordan. It's one of the things about cricket, isn't it? You have to adjust to your conditions. It's not just the wicket, it's different sized boundaries and different types of bowlers and everything. This one's just defended by Elwes. No run. Different types of game. They're adjusting from T20 to T50 over, and then for some of them international cricket, like test matches, there's not many of those, but there's another one coming up soon in the Ashes series. So constantly adjusting, cricketers have to. And in junior cricket, they adjust between length of pitch as well. So there's a lot of variations. Gray in again. And that one's an outside edge from Elvis. I don't think we can give her the benefit of the doubt and say she ran that one down here, but it came down to third man for a single.
Oh, I think she might argue with you about that one.
She wasn't sort of looking down here as if, I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong and that's what she intended to do, but either way it's a single. Safe enough. For Adams, they changed the field and put a short fine leg in instead of short third man, so perhaps there's a suggestion of a different line. Gray in now to Adams. And that's just played on the offside by Vipers captain with the number 1 on her back. There's no run, and 25 for 2 at the end of the 4th over.
BBC Radio Solent Sport live from the county ground in Hove with the Southern Vipers this evening, 25 for 2, chasing 115 for victory against the Sunrisers, a victory that would officially confirm their spot at finals day at New Road in Worcester on Saturday, where they take on the Thunder in the Eliminator, with the Blaze waiting in the final. The Vipers in orange tops, black trousers, the Sunrisers navy blue tops and trousers with red and yellow sleeves. It's Villiers to continue, right arm over the wicket, dot ball, 2 wickets to fall, both fell in the last. Villiers over. They were for the Vipers that of Ella McCacken, before that Nicole Fulton. McCacken going for 13, Fulton for 1. Villiers again, right arm over the wicket. Elvis onto the back foot, nudges one into the leg side. Dot ball, no run. It has been a lovely evening here in West Sussex. Blue skies overhead, lots of sunshine. That sun now setting away to our left, and that's punched into the leg side by Georgia Elvis. Will get a single down to deep mid wicket. That brings Adams back onto strike, the Vipers captain. Not a great crowd though, you have to say, this evening. I reckon maybe 200 max, if that. I might be being generous. Not the easiest to count. Sparsely populated around the ground. The spectators in here at Hove tonight, and there's another dot ball there from Villiers.
It's interesting, isn't it, the crowd, because they played some of the games, their home games, at club grounds, out grounds, you might call it. Sorry, again.
Villiers again, right arm over the wicket. That's short, that's pulled away, and there's a diving attempt at a catch there. Square leg. Adams gets away with it.
She might have got a hand on that, I think. She might have got a hand on that. It's Van Neerkerk, isn't it? I think
it was McLeod, I think, in fact.
Oh, is it? Sorry. Yeah, you're right, sorry.
With the diving away to her left-hand side, it was a good solid hand on it, but couldn't cling on to the ball. Villiers again, that's in at the pads, drifting down the leg side, just flicked away by Elvis. Dot ball, no run, as the wind just drops momentarily here at Hove. End of the 5th over. The Vipers 27 for 2, chasing 115 for victory. BBC Radio Solent Sport. You're listening to Jordan Clark and this man Phil Green.
Yeah, just come back to the crowds. When they went to Falkland a couple of weeks ago, lovely club ground up near Newbury, there was a crowd of about 500, but it seemed it was perfect for that setting because 500 looked a lot and it made a really good atmosphere. Whereas if you have 500 in here or the Ageas Bowl or somewhere, it sort of doesn't have an impact. So there's a lot of pluses for going to a club ground for some of these games. I'm going to change of bowling. I think it's Kelly Castle. It starts with a full toss and it's slapped away by Adams and it's beaten the fielder. He did get a hand on it, deep square leg, but it's gone for 4. Loosener from Castle, you have to say. And Adams took advantage and just helped it onto the leg side, but possibly could have been stopped by the deep square leg, but it wasn't, so the score's up to 31. Yeah, and there's a game coming up at New Close on the Isle of Wight as well, and the same thing there. You know, if you get 500 or 600 in there, it'll be a good crowd. That's played away by Adams to backward point, and they come through for a single. Throws a bit wild into keeper, eludes the keeper, but it backed up by some alert backing up from Maddie Villiers. Another run to Adams, taking her up to 6. Score 32. Castle again down the hill, and that's just pushed back by Elvis. Castle bowls with the keeper stood up always, against a medium pace bowler, but a very effective one, traditionally for the Sunrisers. In again, on into George Elwes, and that's pushed on the leg side by Elwes, and quick single again, shy at the stumps from mid-on, which misses. That's Eva Gray throwing there. Could have been quite tight with a direct hit, but in they were. So another one to Elwes, 33 for 2. Adams drives this next one, and that's bounced awkwardly in front of the fielder at point, and it's beaten her and gone away to the cover boundary. I think that bounced just in front of the fielder, but a few lapses already in the field from the Sunrise, you have to say. Not quite on top of their game in the field here. 4 more to Adams. She's up to 10 already, and still in the 6th over, and the score's already up to 37. Russell again, Adams drives again, and this time it's through the fielders. No one's going to stop that. That's another 4. Lovely shot from Georgia Adams. Just leant into the off drive, full delivery, and this time straight through the gap. Nobody out there.
Made it look very easy.
Yeah. It is looking a bit easy despite the 2 wickets. And as I say, I don't think they've looked right on top of their game in the field, to Sunrisers, if I'm honest.
No, and especially as you say, when you're defending a low total as well, you've really got to be right at it. And again, perhaps, we said this when those first 4 wickets fell, kind of probably just sums up their season in this competition and the disappointments they've faced and the reasons why. It's going to be Villiers to continue from the C end. She's taken the 2 Vipers wickets to fall so far. BBC Radio Solent Sport, live from the county ground in Hove in the Charlotte Edwards Cup, the T20 format. We've got fielder back at long on. There's a dot ball right arm over the wicket from Villiers. Elwes just nudges it back towards the bowler. We've got fielder back on the leg side, mid-wicket-ish as well, deep square leg.
The fielder down in front of us, it's a substitute fielder, so someone must be off the field.
And that's a little shorter, and it's pulled into the leg side, and it's caught at mid-wicket, and Georgia Elwes is the latest Vipers wicket to fall. She goes for 10. Villiers picks up her 3rd wicket of the game. The Southern Vipers 41 for 3, chasing 115 for victory. We're in the 7th over.
Well, it's all action here, isn't it? Wickets and runs coming quickly. That was...
At what point do you start to get a little bit nervy if you're the Vipers?
Well, I think they're already past the point where they've qualified, so probably not that nervous, but I think, as I've said before, I think players are playing for their own, to get themselves in form now, and to maybe give a nudge to where they should be batted in the order, maybe. So there's plenty to play for. I don't think they'll be panicking
you want to be going into it with momentum as well, don't you? Off the back of a win from a team perspective.
And a good win. You don't want to be scraping over the line, really, either.
Against the Sunrisers team that hasn't won all season as well.
But, to be honest, they're well on course. I wouldn't be panicking from a winning point of view at the moment. Different challenge for Villiers now, because he's got a left-handed Freya Kemp at the crease. First left-hander we've seen today. Don't see many in women's cricket, as we've talked about many times.
So Villiers is going to come round the wicket. Just wait for a change in field. Villiers is going to remark curve run up. As she knows, she's just going to go.
Got a slip going in.
Yeah, got a slip for Freya Kemp. Everyone in bar fielder back on the offside, and that's where it's cut away in the gap between point and cover, and it will be fielded by that fielder out on the boundary away to our right. Freya Kemp gets off the mark with a single, brings the captain Georgia Adams back on to strike, and we'll see a change in the field again for the right-hander.
I don't know who's off the field. As I said earlier, but down in front of us at the moment is Kate Speed, who's not in the playing 11, so somebody missing from the Sunrisers lineup.
Villiers back to over the wicket. That's a bit shorter, pulled away by Georgia Adams, down to long on. Didn't really get hold of it, and then Speed slips as she throws as well. That looked like it could have been a nasty ankle injury for a moment there.
She's limping a bit now, isn't she?
She's
She seems okay.
Jogging it off.
Jogging it off, yeah, she's fine.
Just the single for Adams. 43 for 3, the Vipers now. Brings Freya Kemp back onto strike. The left-hander, Villiers, back round the wicket. Right arm, loopy delivery. In at the toes of Kemp, who gets an inside edge. Sneaks it through down to fine leg. And will come through for the single. And she'll move on to 2. The Vipers on to 44 for 3. Final ball of the over coming up. So back to over the wicket. Long on goes back, deep square leg, deep mid-wicket out on the rope. Again, good flight from Villiers. That's just pushed into the offside by Georgia Adams. Dot ball, end of the 7th over. The Vipers 44 for 3. They are chasing 115 for victory against the Sunrisers. You're listening to BBC Radio Solent Sport.
I don't know, we've talked about it on air before, Jordan. I don't know if you've been involved in those conversations about why there's so few left-handed batters in women's cricket. It's a very rare occurrence, and there's lots of different theories of why it is, or I've heard lots of things put forward. One that I've always had is that traditionally, or certainly going back, a lot of girls came to cricket from hockey, and of course in hockey you're not allowed to play left-handed,
right? Yeah.
So they naturally bat right-handed because it's what they do in hockey. But I think as the game's evolved, I don't think so many come over from hockey, but there still don't seem to be many. There hasn't been a left-handed England batter since Lydia Greenway, I believe. Anyway, we've got to change the bowling from the Cromwell end. It's Maxud coming on, the leg spinner. And the first ball's short, and Kemp pulls it away to mid-wicket. And the Vipers will know all about this bowler because that game at the start of this summer at the Ageas, she took 5 wickets, and the Sunrisers upset the form book and defeated the Vipers in that Rachel Hayhoe-Flint game. She was the destroyer-in-chief, Scottish international, a regular in both formats for Sunrisers. Now into the right-handed Adams. And that's short again, and Adams pulls. I think she's found the gap there, and that's going to be away for 4. She found the gap between mid-wicket and mid-on. Far too short from Maxud then.
If it gives you any hope for the future, my daughter is only 9 months old, but I'm convinced she's going to be left-handed.
Wow, it'd be
and
good
she's
to
grabbing
see.
at everything with a left hand. So maybe a future Vipers opener one day.
Absolutely, and probably not a hockey player then on that basis.
No.
Maxud again, and Adams goes aerial this time, but it's gone straight up in the air. Fielder's getting under this, and just drops it. She made a bit of a meal of that. I think she lost it maybe in the lights or the semi-dark, and it was the substitute fielder's speed, and she never really looked like she was in position.
Went very high.
It did go high, but the sort of catch you've got to take really. But they came. It was so high that she came back for a second, and this next ball is a full toss. It's not a good start by Maxud,
and that's why you've got to take them, especially for someone like Adams and her quality. She'll punish you.
Slapped away for 4 over mid-wicket.
6, I think it went all the way in the end.
Sorry, that's the 3rd time today I've said 4. Yeah, it's gone for 6. Really poor ball. She comes again. Short again. Adams on the back from the offside this time, cracks it through the offside, but just a single this time, but not a good over, you'd have to say, from Maxud so far. She's now got a left-hander to bowl to, so the field changes for Kemp, and she's staying over the wicket. This time it's a better length. Kemp starts to come down the wicket, but then changes her mind and just defends the ball on the offside, which sees us to the end of the over, and the score now moved to 58 for 3. Vipers just over halfway to their target, with Adams on 28 and Kemp on 3.
It looks like Villiers is going to bowl through, I think. Maddie Villiers. Yep. 3 wickets for just 9 runs from her first 3 overs, and she's going to finish things off here from the C end. And that's hardly surprising, given the low total that the Sunrisers are defending. 58 for 3, the Vipers chasing 115 for victory. Villiers' right arm over the wicket to Elwes, who turns and pulls one away into the leg side. Going to make the most of that opportunity, having been dropped in the last over. Adams moves on to 29. brings Freya Kemp back onto strike.
It's called Delia Griffith, who's not on the field, by the way, for the Sunrisers.
Right.
She has had a bit of an injury-strewn season. She's played sort of every
Came
other
back into the side, of course, didn't she?
She's gone in and out of the team with injury, so perhaps they are just resting her a little bit. Did her best with the bat, but perhaps they're giving her a rest in the field.
Kemp on strike, so just a change in the field. Villiers starts a run up round the wicket. Kemp just moves away. Mid-off has come up on the single. It's pushed into the covers by Kemp, and she's going to come through, squeeze through the gaps, so she'll take the single. And again, the field will change for the right-handed Adams. The wickets to fall for the Vipers. Nicole Fulton, the first to go, bowled by Villiers for 1. Then Villiers taking Ella McCacken in the same over for 13. She comes in again, right arm round the wicket to Adams, who again pulls away into the leg side. Powerful shot. Good fielding on the boundary away to our right on the leg side. Adams will come back for the second. She moves on to 29.
Flo Miller.
Flo Miller with the diving stop down there.
Yeah.
Adams on to 31, and the Vipers 62 for 3. As Villiers comes right arm round the wicket. And this time it's wide outside the off stump. Adams cuts away, fielded, and then there's a shy at the stumps at the non-striker's end. Freya Kemp just get back just in time. That other wicket to fall. Georgia Elwes, Villiers taking the Elwes wicket as well. She was dismissed for 10. And there's a single for Adams into the leg side. In fact, they're going to come back for the second as well, down to fine leg. Another 2 for Georgia Adams. She moves on to 33. The Vipers are 64 for 3.
Runs coming fairly easily now. Although we've lost 3 wickets in the Vipers, runs are starting to flow a bit too easily from the Sunrisers' point of view. Adams on 33 already.
Villiers, right arm round the wicket. Solid forward defensive shot from Georgia Adams. Dot ball to finish the over and finish the spell for Maddie Villiers.
Yep, good performance from her. 3 wickets. Or 16, I think it was.
The Vipers 64 for 3.
Going to see Maksud again. She needs to bowl a better over. First over went for 14, so she'll be looking to pull that back. So she has been a thorn in the side of the Vipers, certainly once this season already. She's going to be bowling to the left-handed Freya Kemp. International now, of course, from last season. Suit in. That's short again, and Kemp pulls it. Hits it hard, and again, well fielded on the boundary by the same fielder, I think. Yes, again, Miller. Excellent piece of work out there, but she can't stop them coming back for a second. So runs continuing to flow here. Kemp up to 6. Vipers up to 66. Wiring another. My maths quickly. 48 to win. Kemp down the wicket. Gets that through to long on for a single.
48 now. I think it was 49. Close.
Close. Pretty close.
I can't take any credit for it.
It's on the board, is it?
It's on the board.
Yeah. Okay. I should have done that without using my fingers. Maksud in again now to the right-handed Adams. That's short again. She's been too short in this spell so far. Adams just waits for that and hammers it through the offside for another single. All quite easy at the moment for the Vipers batters. If you're going to bowl leg spin, you need to really get the batters on the front foot, and she hasn't done that yet, unfortunately for her. In she comes again. This time that's much fun. In fact, it's a full toss. It's gone the other way. And Kemp's slapped that away to the leg side. Only going to get a single though. She picks out Flo Miller. Throw comes in and eludes Amara Carr, but is backed up by Villiers.
Some really loose deliveries in this over from Maksud.
Both are overs, to be honest. It's been a very dodgy first couple of overs from her. Unlike her, because say she's one of the mainstays of their bowling lineup in both formats. In she comes again. To Adams, that's a full toss again, and Adams smacks it again in that same area, and that is going to be 6 again. This is just really poor from Maksud, you have to say. Full toss, and she basically could hit it where she wanted, and she decided where she wanted was into her teammates who were sat at the deep mid-wicket boundary.
Yeah, and you look back to that drop catch again, don't you, of Elvis, of Adams, sorry.
Adams, yeah, absolutely. Not only does it get another wicket, but it gives the bowler a bit more confidence, doesn't it, if you get the wicket? But she's struggling at the moment, and she again, that's swept by Adams, fine. Don't know if it's come off pad or bat, but it's going to be 4 more. And it's runs, she's got a little bat on that, so 4 more to Adams, and runs just continuing to flow. Skipper Van Niekerk now having a word with the bowler, trying to impart some of her experience as a spinner. Not bowling this year, I noticed Van Niekerk. I mean, she was an all-rounder in her heyday, but obviously just playing as a batter nowadays. Score up to 80 for 3. Adams on to 44. This time off back foot. It's just short. Cut away, and again a misfield. This time by Miller, who's been excellent on the boundary, but in the ring she parried that and allowed them through for a single. So the score's already moved on to 81 at the end of the 10th over. And just 34 required from 10 overs, which you would imagine is fairly straightforward from the Vipers' point of view. I think we're going to get the introduction of the debutant with the ball.
Yep, Esme McGregor taking her baseball cap off and sunglasses. Not that she needs those now, with the sun almost completely gone away to our left. Floodlights pretty much in full effect. Not quite dark skies overhead yet, but getting there.
Even in a situation where the game's, fading away from the Sunrisers, it's a big moment for the bowler, making her debut at this level.
Esme McGregor from the C end here at the county ground in Hove for her first deliveries for the Sunrisers. Wearing the number 88 on the back of her shirt, and she will be delivering them to the Vipers captain, Georgia Adams. In she comes, bowls. That's a nice lining length outside the off stump. It's pushed away by Adams for a single. Vipers move on to 81 for 3. Georgia Adams closing in on the half century. 45 not out. Freya Kemp alongside her at the moment on 8. Will come on to strike the left-hander.
George Adams just pointing something out to Kemp there. It's probably, even with all the analysis they do now, they've probably not seen her or don't know much about her.
Good point,
guess. Yeah. So some little word there maybe about release point or something to the batter.
Fine leg back, the third man position. There's a fielder in it as well. We've got a sweeper on the offside, deep extra cover, and a sweeper on the leg side as well. Esme will continue right arm over the wicket to the left-handed Freya Kemp. Well, Esme McGregor, and that's a good delivery. Dot ball. Settling into things nicely, the debutant.
Yeah, she'll be pleased to get her first couple of balls out of the way without much trouble.
McGregor again in bowls. Lovely smooth action, but that is dispatched by Freya Kemp, just back of a length, punched off the back foot, back over the bowler's head, and it will run away. A couple of bounces all the way to the rope for 4 for Freya Kemp. The Vipers move on to 86 for 3. We need another 29 runs for victory. Freya Kemp is on to 12, alongside Georgia Adams, who's on 46.
Using her long levers there, Kemp, tall girl.
Kemp again sets herself at the crease. In comes McGregor. That's a great delivery, and it's bowled. The bail flicks off the top of off stump, and the debutant Esme McGregor has her first wicket for the Sunrisers. A special moment for the youngsters. Freya Kemp is bowled for 12, and the Southern Vipers are 86 for 4.
International for her first victim at this level, so she'll be delighted with that. And you come to the stage you were saying earlier, if there's anything the Sunrise can add to this game, it's going to be a few personal achievements like that. If they can find a new bowler who's getting a bit of confidence from, say, getting England international out, then that's a big tick in the box for them tonight, and for her, of course.
So it will be Emily Windsor wearing the number 4 coming to the crease for the Vipers to try and help Georgia Adams finish the game off. They need 29 runs for victory here against the Sunrisers. They are already through to the finals day at Worcester on Saturday, where they'll take on Thunder in the Eliminator, with the Blaze waiting in the final.
Emily Windsor hasn't had too many opportunities this year, so she'll be pleased to get to the crease, and this is a ground that she's had previous success on. Got 90 odd in a game against the South East Stars here last year in the Rachel Hayhoe, when she had a huge partnership with Georgia Elvis when she got who got 100. So she's got good memories from here.
McGregor, right arm over the wicket to Windsor, who flicks it into the leg side. Will pick up a single away to deep square leg. In fact, Windsor sprinting hard, coming back for the second. There's an appeal, not out. Windsor off the mark with 2.
She is quick between the wickets, but she had to really put her foot down then, and those last few yards, I don't think it was quite as comfortable as she thought when she set off for the second, but she is quick.
Esme McGregor, 18 years old, will turn 19 in July on debut in the 88. Shirt this evening. Has literally just signed her first senior contract for the Sunrisers as well. That's a full toss outside the off stump, cut away by Emily Windsor. Good fielding to take the pace off the ball.
It's a no ball, I think.
That'll be a no ball. It's just the single for Windsor. She moves on to 3. The Vipers move on to 90 for 4. 25 runs needed for victory.
So, free hit for Georgia Adams.
Esme McGregor, so new, Phil, doesn't actually say what her favourite food is. I know you've been updating listeners on the Sunrisers.
We'll have to create a dish for her, I think.
Favourite dishes this evening, based on their profiles on the website. Can tell you, Esme McGregor plays her county cricket for Essex. She comes in again, right arm over the wicket, free hit. Georgia Adams will drive it back down to long on.
I don't know if this is the case, but she may be a sister of, there's an Essex player, Beth McGregor, who'd be a little bit older. Played for Essex for some years, so don't know if they're related, but 2 McGregors at Essex, so it could be.
Could well be. End of the 11th over. 9 overs to go. We won't get to the end of those, I don't think. The Vipers needing 24 runs for victory there, 91 for 4. Georgia Adams, the captain, closing in on a half century, 47. And Emily Windsor joining her at the crease after that last over. She's on 3. Esme McGregor with her first over on debut for the Sunrisers, taking the wicket of Freya Kemp for bowling her for 12.
Not that they'll need it in this situation, but I think the Vipers will get the bonus point as well in this game. I think they've got to get it in 16 overs, so I think that's right. So we'll be looking to do that. Kelly Castle bowling again from the Cromwell Road end. Bowling to Adams, who's on 47. She flicks that away on the leg side. Just be the single this time. Square leg comes off the line, that's Villiers, and again the throw eludes the keeper. There's been a few throws that haven't gone quite where they're intended. They've all been backed up, hasn't cost any overthrows, but just looks a little bit loose. So Windsor now on strike this end for the first time. As Kelly Castle comes in. And that's a high full toss down the leg side. It's going to be a wide. Could have been a no ball, but it's a wide. It was high past the leg stump. Very loose delivery again. There's been far too many of those, you'd have to say, in this 12 overs, or 11 of the bit overs we've had. Didn't see many really loose balls from the Vipers. Castling again, that's the back of the hands, like a leg break almost. He tried to bowl there. Yeah. Tried to flick it on the leg side, but it just hit her on the pad and trickled out. No run.
having taken those wickets, a real chance to put some pressure on with some tight bowling. Phil, as you said, they just haven't been able to be consistent enough, have they?
No, there's been far too many, bad balls. You can't describe it any other way, really. Castle in now, back of the hand again, and this time Windsor cuts and will get a single as it goes to the right of the fielder at point.
I think we can start to look to finals day now. Come on then, what chance do you give them against Thunder, and then if they were to beat them against the Blaze, who have been so dominant?
The Blaze have been dominant, but obviously you've got to look at it, as they say, the old cliche, one match at a time. Just as Castling again, and Adams just plays that into the offside for another single. Picking out runs at will almost in now. Thunder obviously come into a bit of form, and you used the term earlier, momentum. They're coming in with that, having obviously won what was effectively a decider today to get into the playoffs between them and Diamonds. So they're coming in with some good form behind them. It'll be a tough challenge in again, and that's trying to work on the leg side. Windsor, but doesn't make contact, runs away, picked up by the keeper. No run. Without keep labouring the point, it might well depend on who is available for both sides. I guess there's
that would be hugely significant.
You'd like to think they're available for finals day, but Castle in, and Windsor plays an interesting little shot there. Sort of gave herself room and just helped it down to third man, almost like a reverse scoop. It was I don't quite know how to describe that shot. I'll have to ask her later what she calls that one. Maybe she'll put her own name on it, like the Nutmeg or
the Windsor.
The Windsor, yeah. But anyway, she's got a single for it, and she goes up to 5, and the score moves up to 96 for 4.
19 runs needed for victory. The Vipers chasing 115 against the Sunrisers. They have got still 8 overs left to do it. They're heading for finals day on Saturday. You're listening to BBC Radio Solent Sport, and we are live from the county ground in Hove in the Charlotte Edwards Cup. The Vipers, defending champions, as we were just saying, will face the Thunder in the eliminator, the playoff semi-final. As Esme McGregor continues on debut from the C end, right arm over the wicket into the pads of Windsor, who flicks off of those pads into the leg side, and quick between the wickets, comes back easily for the second. The Vipers bring the... No, they don't. They're 98 for 4. I thought I was ahead of the scoreboard then. Windsor on to 7. Esme McGregor in again to Windsor. Windsor drives straight back past McGregor, but up to mid-off. And the fielding is done, so it will be a dot ball there. No run. Good fielding by Kelly Castle. Of course, lost the captaincy ahead of today's game to the experienced South African Dane van Niekerk for the Sunrisers. McGregor again, right arm over the wicket, flicked into the leg side again by Windsor. Just the single this time. The Vipers on to 99 for 4. Brings Georgia Adams back on to strike. 49. Looking for the half century and to take the Vipers past the 100 mark.
A couple of interesting matchups in the Thunder game on Saturday will be 2 of the former Vipers players in the Thunder lineup, Fee Morris and Tara Norris.
McGregor, right arm over the wicket, flicked from outside off stump into the leg side by Georgia Adams, and the applause from the home dugout over on the far side as Georgia Adams, the Vipers skipper, raises her back to acknowledge her half century in 50, and that's the 100 up for the Vipers as well. That 50 coming off just 28 balls for Georgia Adams.
It's a good job. There was some applause from their teammates, because there's not a lot from the rest of the ground, is there?
No, it's very quiet.
All the noise was coming from the far end then.
McGregor, right arm over the wicket. Windsor back on strike. Windsor bowled. McGregor has her second wicket of the evening on debut. Emily Windsor bowled for 8, going down low, trying to sweep into the leg side. Didn't look like it didn't bounce very high, and the bail's removed. Yes. And the Vipers 100 for 5.
Trying to finish it in a hurry by the looks of it there, Emily Windsor. And as you say, almost sort of sweep or pull, somewhere between the two. And unsuccessful. And 2 wickets on debut for Esme McGregor, so she'll certainly be somebody who could take something away from this game.
Nancy Harmon next in for the Vipers, wearing number 25 on her back.
Batting very well in the last game, got 32 in this position. In this position, the batting order, not the game position.
Going in at number 7 for the Vipers this evening. Asks the umpire for her guard, marks it with her studs. Fielders going out at sweeper on the leg side. Got a deep square leg as well. Third man and everyone else up on the single. It's full and straight from McGregor. Good bowling from the young pace bowler. It's the end of the 13th over. The Vipers 100 for 5. They need 15 runs for victory here at Hove against the Sunrisers. Phil Green.
Yeah, it's coming towards the end of this game, we would think. It looked like Emily Windsor was trying to finish in a bit of a hurry there, but that's probably what the instruction was, and why not? And just another 14 needed, and Adams is going to hopefully see her team through to victory. She's moved down the order this year, traditionally open for several years, but now coming in the middle order, and it seems wherever she bats in the order she gets runs. A very consistent player at this level. And we've got Kate Kopak coming back in. She just bowled one over at the start of the innings. Coming now, changed ends, coming in from the Cromwell Road end. Bustling run up, and another full toss which Adams has just helped away for 4 down to fine leg. It's another poor ball from Kopak. She struggled in her first over, and she struggled with the first ball from the other end. As we mentioned before, there is an adjustment coming down the hill. It must be quite disconcerting for the bowlers. It's like Lord's got a slope, but that's side to side rather than end to end.
Yeah.
And they said then about how bowlers have to adjust, but it must affect your run up when you're running down the hill. Kopak in again, and that's a better length, but Adams, good nick now, and she just works that away on the leg side. A comfortable single. You'd have to say, I mean, the scorecard will tell you this, but in each innings there's been sort of one standout batsman who's looked head and shoulders above the rest.
Yeah.
Cordelia Griffith and now Georgia Adams, making it look a lot easier than the others.
Yeah, different levels.
Kopak in again. Well, I thought she was in again, but at the last minute she pulled out.
That'd be that slope.
Yeah,
just throwing the run up off.
Probably just exactly that. Almost got to a delivery stride, and
You're in her head now. She's obviously listening to you.
she's in again now. She does complete this time. That's a good ball. Nice full ball, and Harmon hits it well, but straight to mid on. No run. So Nancy Harmon's another one who's just trying to force her way into a regular spot in this side. An all-rounder, but she only bowled a 1 over tonight. There's not a lot of bowling, so probably needs to impress with the bat to cement her place. Got back in again. That's back of a length, and Harmon just plays on the offside, but there's not going to be a run there. Fielding quite tight now for her as the newer batter at the crease. She's got 4 on the offside, saving 1, and a third man down in front of us. And then a mid-on and a very square mid-wicket, a straight mid-wicket, I should say. And then 2 out on the leg side boundary. Kopak in again down the hill. And Harmon just plays that with a high left elbow, sort of classic defensive shot, but no run. Well bowled again from Kopak, who's come back well in this over after a loose first ball. Nancy Harmon does a lot of coaching in the winter, well, all year with girls, and that's the sort of thing she'd be telling them, that nice high left elbow that she showed then. And again, she does the same thing, but this time pushes it a bit harder and gets a single as the field had been pushed back. So she's taking it down to long on. I think the Sunrisers were happy to give her a single to keep Georgia Adams off the strike at the end of the over. Harman is now off the mark with 1, and the score is 106 for 5. Vipers just need another 9, and let's say, not that it's going to matter, but I think to get the bonus point, they need to get it in 2 overs.
Into single figures. The bonus point would take them on to
22?
22, yeah. So 10 points off the Blaze. And their finishing total in the end. They've got a significant gap.
Yeah,
And the 2 wins and 2 bonus points.
and a new team, of course, Blaze this year.
Yeah.
So a very good debut season in this competition for them.
Dominant. Still time for the Vipers, though, to hold on to that trophy. Esme McGregor is going to get a 3rd over, and why not? She's bowled really well on debut, the 18-year-old. Right arm over the wicket. It's defended by Harman into the leg side. Dot ball, no run. 9 runs needed for victory. BBC Radio Solent Sport. Listening to myself, Jordan Clark, Phil Green here at Hove as well for tonight's game. McGregor in again, right arm over the wicket, flicked into the leg side. 1 run for Harman. They're going to come back for the second. They think about it and decide against it. Brings Georgia Adams back on strike. She's 55, not out. She's been the leading batter in this innings for the Vipers, as she so often is. We'll head over at the end of the game and carry out some interviews, bring you some reaction. Over the wicket from McGregor again. Dot ball from Adams, pushed back up to mid-off. Those interviews will go up on @Solent Sport on Twitter. And you'll hear some of the clips in our radio coverage as well tomorrow, and I'm sure in the build-up as well to the finals day on Saturday on BBC Radio Solent. Esme McGregor again, right arm over the wicket to Adams, who plays a lovely, beautiful shot all the way right in front of us. It slams into the sight screens for 6, back over the bowler's head.
That's an excellent shot, isn't it? It's so easy as well, just an easy swing of the bat, and it's gone a long, long way.
The Vipers move on to 113 for 5. They need 2 runs for victory. That takes Georgia Adams on to 61. The Vipers are heading for finals day. 1 more decent strike from Georgia Adams' bat will do it.
Just going back quickly to what I said, for those that don't know, the Blaze have taken the place of Loughborough Lightning in this competition this year.
McGregor, right arm over the wicket off the pads of Adams, I think, into the leg side. They're going to come back for the second. And there's the victory for the Vipers. They win by 5 wickets against the Sunrisers, and they book their spot in finals day for the Charlotte Edwards Cup as they look to defend the trophy they won last year. They'll take on the Thunder in the playoff semi-final match, with the Blaze waiting in the final. A convincing victory in the end, and a brilliant half-century from the captain Georgia Adams to see the Vipers home against the Sunrisers. Phil Green.
Yeah, they'll be pleased with that, obviously. There'll be a couple of concerns, things they might have wanted to go a little bit better. Some of the batters missed out that they would have wanted to see get into a bit of form.